Discovery, go at throttle up. Discovery, go at throttle up. Discovery, go at throttle up.
Okay, what's going on, everybody? How are you doing? Oh, gotta turn that down just a little bit. Mic peak just a little bit. We should be good there on the microphone. Yeah, and going through equal channels right there. All right, how's everybody doing? Okay, it's Monday. My brain is still in summer car mode, and I'm like, wait, what was I doing? What was I doing before that? Oh yeah, that space thing. Yeah. I like that. That's good. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. Alive, I think. Bro got a voice for radio. Thank you. I think. Hey, Brentster, what's going on?
Discovery, go at throttle
51
up.
month resub. Kyron had an 85 month resub with the hey, the 88.5 wasn't bad. Pados had a 18 monther before that. Hibbit had a 68 month before that, and Krasno had a 34. What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Doing normal? I keep seeing the dance in your head. Oh. According to Google, summer doesn't end until 2:19 p.m. today. Yeah. Well, we completed our objective. I actually set out to get something done before
Discovery,
deadline,
go at
and we
throttle up.
did it. Dino, you're doing good. This is the last week of work before I go and complete your degree. Nice. Good fella. Hey, good fella. What's up? 43 month reset with the Taito emoji. Yeah. First time in a while. Yeah, man. Hey, you guys want to see something funny? Look at this. This was over the weekend. NASA safety panel warns Starship lunar lander could be delayed by years. David Willis says, if you haven't yet, it's time to seriously consider the possibility that Blue Origin's lander is the one that will be used on Artemis 3. Damn, that's absolutely savage. That is absolutely savage. I feel bad for David. Guy means well, but damn, dude. Damn. That's just... Wow, that's pretty savage right there. Anyway, thought you guys would appreciate that. Yeah, I saw Elon's response. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy. Mark's 2 a.m. in Australia, you're sleepy. Yeah, a little late over there. I mean, it's not a 0% chance, right? Like, I don't think that... So Diagonalizer, I don't really... Okay. How do I explain this? It's Monday. Let me shift back into space explanation mode. Okay. SpaceX is working on HLS. They've been working on HLS for some time, dude. Like, they've been working on it. That's absolutely a thing. We just don't see it too much. A lot of the like secondary components and ancillary components to HLS, like the elevator and the airlock and stuff, that's stuff that's done behind closed doors. We're not gonna see it. You're not gonna see it at Starbase. We don't have a camera on Hawthorne 24/7. You know, a lot of the components are being tested indoors. Some of them are being tested at Star Factory. We've seen some components here and there, but long story short, just because we haven't seen like the HLS lander doesn't mean that those components aren't being tested. We just haven't seen one yet. That doesn't mean that the thing is like, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It absolutely exists. Like, we've seen components for it. We've seen the airlock for it. We've seen the elevator for it, etc., etc. It's definitely a thing. It just doesn't seem like it. It doesn't feel like it because we don't see much, and we haven't really had much in the way of a like technical update. You know? That doesn't mean it won't be delayed by years. I think in SpaceX's mind, if they don't get to orbit and they don't get refueling done, there's no point in trying to make an HLS right now in any way, shape, or form. Like, you just keep working on auxiliary components because you're not going to be able to finalize a design for that thing, you know, if you can't get to orbit, right? Like, that's not a thing. So, guys, I honestly don't think, okay, let me put it to you like this. HLS might be behind, It might take a little while. Might take a little while. It's probably going to. It's probably going to get delayed a little bit. But I think SpaceX will deliver on it. I think they'll deliver on it fairly, like, in a reasonable time frame. Like, it's not going to be until we're not going to be waiting until the 2030s. I don't think so. I mean, if you take into account SpaceX's, like, rate of iteration, even taking into account the huge bump in the road that was Block 2, what do you think? Like, let's play devil's advocate here and say it's going to take some time. I think another year for orbital refueling. Like, this is the absolute worst case scenario, right? Another year for orbital refueling, right? And then you get that down. Maybe another 2 to 3 test flights. Before that, maybe another 2 to 3 test flights until they try for orbit. And then refilling by the end of next year. And then once that's in the bag, right, you will have 39A operational at the Cape, 2 pads operational in Boca, right, by the end of 2026, and Slick 37, the 2 pads at Slick 37 will be almost ready to go, right? And then by then the gigabays will almost be finished. Think about this for a second. Taking into account, like, worst case scenario, by the end of 2026, SpaceX will be in a very good position to get this thing ready to go. And then you could spend like a whole year, you could spend all of 2027 basically dialing in Starship orbital operations. And while you're doing that, build HLS out. I'd say at the worst case scenario, like 2028. That's like absolute worst case scenario. I think it'll be quicker than that. But I still think that will be quicker than Blue Origin Mark II. Blue's got to, once again, dude, they got to take, it's like the same thing, dude. Like, they got to get their landers pioneered out. It's going to take time. And then they got to get their rockets scaled up and ready to go. Like, something, dude, my gut's telling me something fishy is going on with New Glenn. They found something in that first stage that they don't like, and they've been fixing it. They redesigned something. They learned something from the test flight that they really, really didn't want. Something weird. Something weird's going on. You don't go from like, oh, we're going to launch 6 times to not like launching once. Especially with the waterfall engineering that Blue is doing, right? They're using waterfall style engineering. So they're engineering like Boeing or like Lockheed or like NASA. And in that regard, it's not like SpaceX where they say they're going to launch like 10 times and then don't, right? We can see good and well, like with the pads, why SpaceX isn't doing it, but they're using iterative design, which means you're much more flexible in making changes. When you have such a rigid structure to your engineering, when you need to make changes in waterfall design, it takes time. So something weird happened with that first stage that Blue didn't like. Somebody at Blue didn't like it, and they've been redesigning. That's my guess. But once again, I don't say that to concern troll Blue or anything. Like, I just told you the worst case scenario with SpaceX. I think the worst case scenario with Blue, like, their refueling architecture, they have to do it too. They got to figure that out. And they're using hydrolocks instead. So they got to get their vehicles scaled up, right? Arguably, SpaceX is already scaling up vehicle production, right? They got to get their vehicles scaled up. And then they got to test it. I think they're going to test it with Viper, which is great. I'm super on board with that. They should do that. I think even with Blue ramping the way that they are, I still think HLS will be faster. I think it'll be faster. I think Blue will get us there. To be 100% honest with you, I think Blue will get us there before... I think they could get us there before the end of the decade as well. They absolutely could. That's enough time, I think, to work out all the kinks with their lander designs and New Glenn and everything. They absolutely could. But SpaceX will also do that. So I don't really think like, oh, Blue Moon Mark II or, oh, SpaceX, like Starship HLS, like... I think the missions will go as planned because the overarching thing here is that NASA doesn't like changing the plan. And the plan right now is to do Artemis 3 with HLS and then Artemis 4 with HLS. and then Artemis 5 with Blue Moon, which makes more sense. It's most likely that the companies are scaling to those deadlines whenever they may be, right? And go from there. Do you think GS1 popped because of what and how it uses its landing stuff? I don't know. Hey, King Kitten, Tier 2, 114 months. Thanks, man. I know it's kind of sus we haven't seen any of its hardware. What? Which hardware? My guy, I'm worried about B3. It's basically a new booster and engine design. So? What are you worried about? What, that it blows up? So what? Make another one. Who cares? Once again, iterative, man. Iterative. It's not NASA. Can you explain the title? Just came home from a week in LA, so I haven't really been following. Well, right now, NASA should be opening up a stream to announce their new astronaut class. And in true NASA fashion, we are waiting. We are waiting for them. Here, take a look. September 22nd, 2025 at 12:30 p.m. September 22nd, 2025 at 12:31 p.m. Okay. Did you watch the random presser they did yesterday?
Good
There we go.
morning.
There we go.
I'm Vanessa White,
we go.
Director of NASA's Johnson Space
No, I didn't.
Center, and I'm joined by Deputy Director Steve Kerner. Thank you for joining us today as we debut NASA's 2025 class of astronaut candidates. We are honored to have some special guests with us today. Please join me in welcoming Senator Ted Cruz, Congressman Brian Babin,
NASA underdriven audio.
and Congressman Jake Elzy.
Give me 1 second, dudes. Do you have I don't have volume booster up on this computer.
We'd also like to recognize the offices of Representatives Randy Weber and Dan Crenshaw, and Texas Representative Dr. Greg Bonin, and we also have a representative from Senator John Cornyn's office.
He always underdrive, King Kitten. It happens every time.
Additionally,
Hey, Don
we have
Pettit's there.
some NASA guests, senior leadership that are here today that are not on the program. So I'd like to introduce to you Ms. Casey Swells, our Deputy Associate Administrator, Brian Hughes, NASA Chief of Staff, Ken Bowersox, our Associate Administrator for Space Operations Mission Directorate,
Ken's over there.
Lori Glaze, our Acting Associate Administrator for our Exploration Systems Development Mission Directorate, and she's also serving as our Moon to Mars Program Manager. And from Marshall Space Flight Center, we have Director Joseph Pelfrey. And Stennis Space Center Director John Bailey. Today is a very exciting day for all of us here, for our nation, and for all humanity, as we will announce the newest class of astronaut candidates. 10 American men and women will begin their basic training that spans 2 years to eventually earn their wings and join NASA's active astronaut corps.
That 2-year journey begins today. The next 2 years will be spent studying and training in our world-class facilities. They will learn NASA's history and our vision for the future. They will take classes in geology, land and water survival, and space health. They will even get to train in our high-performance jets. They will engage in a variety of technical activities to prepare them for the missions that will help NASA push the boundaries of exploration, travel to new destinations in the solar system, and inspire the world through discovery. We look forward to supporting them and their families along the way.
That's right. The Johnson Space Center is proud to be home to America's Astronaut Corps. But we are also proud to lead several key programs and organizations for NASA. We lead the management and operations of the International Space Station while supporting several companies as they design and develop commercial LEO low Earth orbit destinations. And through the Commercial Crew Program, we partner with industry to develop and operate a new generation of spacecraft and launch systems. Artemis flight planning and operations are also conducted here. And the Johnson-based Gateway and Extravehicular Activity and Human Surface Mobility programs are working with industry to develop a lunar outpost, the next generation of spacesuits, and lunar rovers. In addition to these significant human spaceflight programs, Johnson implements for the agency commercial lunar payload services, an instrumental part of Artemis, through partnerships with industry to provide robotic capabilities for the Moon and Mars.
All of these efforts are positioning us for our next giant leap, one that ushers in a new golden age of innovation and exploration.
The astronaut candidates we announced today will help us get there. They were selected from a pool of about 8,000 applicants because they represent America's finest. I would like to thank the team of NASA employees who helped with the selection process. Human spaceflight is a team sport, and it requires the passion and dedication of all of us. Now that you've heard a little bit about the home of spaceflight, and it's now time to announce our newest astronaut candidates. And to help us kick that off, please give a warm Houston welcome to our Flight Operations Director, Norm Knight.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Steve. And good morning. 4 years ago, we named 10 exceptional individuals in our most recent class of astronaut candidates. I often look back at what we've accomplished over these last 4 years in human spaceflight, and those accomplishments have been significant. Much of what's been achieved has been made possible by the International Space Station, where many of these candidates sitting here today will have the opportunity to visit. Every lesson learned aboard station has paved the way for where we're headed next, to the Moon, this time to stay, and on to Mars. Just think, 4 crew members who are preparing to fly around the Moon early next year, farther away from Earth than any human since Apollo 13 in 1970. They were also once astronaut candidates. Today, 10 more distinguished individuals are joining the NASA family as the newest generation of explorers to further our reach into the golden age of innovation and exploration. This selection was challenging, competitive, and very difficult. But what we have for you here today is a group of individuals who are not only exceptional, but who will be inspirational for the United States of America and for our planet. For those of us in flight operations, the astronaut candidates we're naming today may be the most visible representatives of human spaceflight, but they are also the emissaries to an entire cadre of talented flight controllers, trainers, engineers, and frankly, everyone across this great agency who are the heartbeat of human spaceflight. With that, I'd like to invite my deputy, Chell Lindgren, to join me in introducing the 2025 class of astronaut candidates to the world. Chell.
Chell Lindgren's cool. He's been to the ISS a couple times.
Thank you, Norm. It is an honor to be out here today. Now, I come to you from the 20th astronaut group, the Chumps, and we can't wait to see what the flies name this new class. Now, the 10 individuals you're about to meet come with fantastic experience to lead us here on Earth and in space. Are you ready to meet the 24th group of astronaut candidates? All right, let's get started. He's a Chief Warrant Officer and experimental test pilot in the United States Army. From Charlottesville, Virginia, Ben Bailey.
Dude, the heroic music is a vibe.
She's a geologist who worked on the Curiosity Mars rover and Artemis 3 science team.
Discovery,
Originally
go at
from
throttle up.
Sammamish, Washington, Lauren Edgar.
Why does the way they're announcing it sound like a Jeopardy question?
He's a test pilot and a major in the United States Air Force. From Leesburg, Virginia, Adam Furman.
Who is Adam Furman? You are right. You have the board. They have assigned seats.
He's a test pilot and weapons officer in the United States Air Force. From Savannah, Illinois, Major Cameron Jones.
He's a launch director and engineering executive from Columbus, Indiana, Yuri Kubo.
Huh. Cool. Launch director. Wonder why they need a launch director, astronaut. Curious.
She's a former United Airlines test pilot, NOAA hurricane hunter, and naval aviator. From Little Elm, Texas, Rebecca Lawler.
Cool. Hurricane hunters are a little bit crazy. The right kind of crazy, though, to do stuff like this. That's cool.
She flew to space as a SpaceX engineer on the Polaris Dawn mission and is a native to Houston, Texas.
Yo!
Please welcome Anna Menon.
Yo! All right! Anna, that's badass. Dude, that's cool, man. All right. That's pretty sick.
She's an anesthesiologist from Cupake Falls, New York, Imelda Muller.
I don't know anything about her. That's cool, though. Anesthesiologist. Huh. Huh. Bones. Dude, that's awesome that Ann is there. That's so cool.
She's a lieutenant commander in the United States Navy and a test pilot in the F-18 Super Hornet. From Goshen, Kentucky, Erin Overcash.
Cool.
She's a former flight test engineering director at Gulfstream Aerospace and United States Marine Corps test pilot. From San Diego, California, Catherine Spees.
Cool. All right. First selection of a person who's already been to space. I mean, does the X-15 program count? Because if the X-15 program counts as going into space, Anna isn't the first NASA astronaut that had been to space
10
prior.
men and women are your 24th astronaut candidate class.
Hell yeah. A lot of test pilots. Interesting. And Anna's up there. That's freaking sick, dude. That's awesome. What the hell? You're holding it upside down, buddy.
Wait to see what you achieve. Congratulations. And please join me in giving them another round of applause.
Wow.
Wow.
At NASA, we are more than just a team. We are a family. To share some words of wisdom with you, we have 3 astronauts here with us today who sat in this very stage some years ago and received their astronaut pins. Please welcome NASA astronauts Chris Birch, Nicole Ayers, and Chris Williams.
Lauren, Yuri, Becky, Adam, Cameron, Aaron, Kate, Ben, Mel, and Anna. Congratulations and welcome to the team.
Yeah. Wow.
My name is Chris Birch, and I am a member of the 2021 NASA astronaut class. I'm here with 2 of my fly classmates, so this is officially a swarm.
Discovery,
Your
go
astronaut
at throttle
class
up.
is a very special group. That's why there's a tradition among astronauts that the newest astronaut class is named by the class before it. Our class was named by the turtles, who lovingly gave us the name the Flies because, among more humorous reasons, they hoped we would fly early, and indeed we have. Nicole just returned from her 5-month mission aboard the International Space Station, and Chris is preparing to launch for his 8-month mission this November. The bonds formed with your class The bonds formed with your class are very special. Astronaut training is an apprenticeship. We learn from our trainers and our instructors, and we are constantly learning from each other. Your training builds a foundation of trust that will carry you throughout your career and on to your future missions. On behalf of all the Flies, we look forward to getting to know your class so we can give you a name befitting your personalities and appropriate for the exciting and dynamic time that we are in human spaceflight.
As Chris mentioned, your next few years are going to be all about learning and training. In many ways, it's like drinking from a fire hose. You'll be asked to learn, not just learn, but to master new skills and disciplines.
Move the
Some
mic
of
closer,
these
bud.
might be familiar to some members of your class, like flying an aircraft or characterizing crystals in a rock. But others are going to be totally new to you. I know for me in my class, it was an incredible experience the first time we were underwater in a spacesuit under 40 feet of water in our neutral buoyancy lab, practicing a spacewalk to repair a space station. That was totally new and just an awesome experience. Thankfully, you're going to have some of the most talented and passionate instructors and an incredibly dedicated team here at NASA who are going to help you through this. We could not do what we do without the amazing support that we have here at the Johnson Space Center and from the entire NASA community. But some of the most special moments will come as you find how much you get to learn from each other, from your classmates, your peers. It's really a rare opportunity to be surrounded by a group of individuals that all come from different backgrounds, different fields, and with different experiences, but who are at the highest levels of their professions. When I have a question about the nuances of flying a T-38 in formation, I can turn to my fighter pilot classmate with thousands of flight hours and ask her a question. When I'm wondering about the design of a biology experiment on the ISS that we're learning about, I can turn to my bioengineering classmate and ask, why is this experiment designed the way it is so I can understand how it works? The knowledge and experiences that you all bring and share with each other will not only make you a stronger class, but make us a stronger astronaut corps. It also makes it an absolute pleasure to come to work every single day. Learning is not unique to your initial training. It's going to continue after you graduate and go into supporting other crew members who are flying in space, helping to develop the systems that are going to take us to the moon and beyond, and training to be a crew member on a future mission. I can personally vouch for this. Training for my upcoming mission has been a constant learning process, but it builds on the foundational skills that I learned in the initial training that you all are about to embark upon. And we've seen how it sets you up to excel. My classmate Nicole just returned from a fantastically successful 5-month mission to the International Space Station.
Thanks, C-Dub. Well said. You know, we all look back fondly on our time in those seats, being welcomed into this NASA family. The next 2 years will be a whirlwind, but they'll be some of the best moments with the best people. As NASA furthers human spaceflight, we can't wait to see you all get assigned to a crew and get welcomed into a smaller family that is that crew. Whether on a space station crew or a crew that's headed to the moon and eventually onto Mars. We build bonds that span generations and borders. We're so excited to see you all eating a family dinner with your crew somewhere on potentially an exploration vehicle or even a habitat somewhere. I know I personally loved our family dinners on the International Space Station. But before we go, we have some very special guests who couldn't be here today, my space brothers and sister, and the family I got to share some amazing moments with. They're currently living and working aboard the International Space Station 260 miles above the Earth. And they're also cheering you on. And they prepared a special message for you guys. So please join me in welcoming NASA astronauts Johnny Kim, Zena Cardman, Mike Fink, and JAXA astronaut Kim Ayui.
Hello from the International Space Station, orbiting 250 miles above beautiful planet Earth. I'm NASA astronaut Mike Fink, a proud member of the class of 1996 Sardines. And we wanted to offer a huge congratulations to the 2025 NASA astronaut candidates. That's you.
We wish we could be there in person to welcome you, but we're so grateful to be up here. We're nearing 25 years of continuous human occupancy aboard the space station, and the work we do will prepare us for missions beyond low Earth orbit. You're joining NASA at an exciting time. We're in a new era of space exploration, going to the moon and onto Mars. We can't wait to see where your journey takes you.
We're a close-knit group in the Astronaut office, and we're thrilled to welcome you into the fold. You can always count on us for support, but you should also lean on each other as a class too. The people sitting beside you right now will become more than colleagues, they'll become lifelong friends.
We can't wait to meet you when my crewmates and I are back on the ground. Until then, learn everything you can, get to know each other, and most importantly, enjoy the ride. We'll keep the space station in great shape for when you get here.
Never mind.
Thank you, Johnny, Zena, Mike, and Kimia.
Oh, we weren't supposed to clap, sorry.
And we can't wait to welcome you back home soon. Next, I'd like to introduce NASA Acting Administrator Secretary Sean Duffy. Administrator Duffy stepped into this role a little over 2 months ago and has already demonstrated his commitment to leading our agency forward with vision and purpose. He also serves as the Secretary of the U.S. Department of Transportation. Please help me welcome NASA's Acting Administrator, Secretary Sean Duffy.
Dudes, the more I think about this, the more I think that the NASA Administrator should be a cabinet position. You know, this is kind of a roundabout way into that kind of mentality, but, you know, the more I think about it, the more it makes more sense. NASA Administrator should be a cabinet position.
It is great to be with all of you today and to join the chorus of congratulations to our new class of astronauts. Well done, everybody. Listen, we know that you represent your families, you represent your communities, you represent NASA, which is the most respected and revered agency in the whole wide world. No pressure. But most importantly, you represent America, the greatest, most innovative, creative country that's ever existed on the face of the earth. And so we couldn't be prouder to welcome you and congratulate you on your work to get to this moment. Now, it's been mentioned before that over 8,000 people applied to get one of these 10 spots. And they were pilots, they were scientists, engineers, they were dreamers, and they were hoping to be here today. But we picked the best and the brightest, the most skilled, the best looking, the best personalities to take these 10 spots. And again, you represent your country. Okay. I know the President extends his congratulations as I extend mine as well to you. And oftentimes we talk about the American dream.
Yeah, Baron, I know.
And if you think about the American dream, I think that there's nothing that embodies the American dream more than the 10 of you today having these spots. I know it was hard work, a lot of effort, a lot of studying, a lot of training for you to win these spots at NASA, but you truly today are living the American dream, and again, congratulations for that. you are America's best and brightest. And we're going to need America's best and brightest because we have bold exploration plans for the future. As we've talked about, we are going back to the moon. This time we're going to stay. And from what we learn on our mission to the moon, we're going to go to Mars. And we're going to go beyond into the unknown.
He's ad-libbing.
Now, some are challenging our leadership in space, say like the Chinese. And I'll just tell you this, I'll be damned if the Chinese beat NASA or beat America back to the moon. We are going to win. We love challenges. We love competition. And we are going to win the second space race back to the moon with all of you participating in that great effort. We also talked about the golden age of transportation and the golden age of exploration. And again, our future is bright. We have bold missions ahead of us. It's going to take money. It's going to take grit. It's going to take courage to actually meet this moment with these missions, with this vision. And I know all of you have the heart to do that. What I find most exciting is I know you guys, they've been NASA employees for a week, I think, 7 days. And I got to meet them earlier today. What I found interesting as I met our new cast of astronauts is that one of these 10 could actually be one of the first Americans to put their boots on the Mars surface, which is very, very cool. Again, no pressure, NASA. We have some work to do.
That's a hell of a thing to say.
So at this moment in time, I couldn't be more honored to be the acting administrator and to lead this organization at this moment in time as we make our vision clear, our mission clear as we move forward. And I do have now the honor and privilege of introducing our next speaker, who, by the way, is also very handsome. He's also very smart, but he is also one of the great leaders in the U.S. Senate. He is a champion for NASA. He's a champion for the Johnson Space Center, which you're very lucky to have him. But not only that, he authorizes the money that gets through the Congress to come and fund NASA. So he's really, really important because he writes the checks, actually. Help me give a warm welcome to one of Texas's finest, Chairman Ted Cruz.
Okay. Let's see how this goes.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Hello. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you for your hard work. You're Secretary of Transportation. You're the acting administrator of NASA. I think you're trying to compete with Marco Rubio to see who can have the most jobs.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
And I look forward to seeing you named as the Archbishop of Washington, D.C. I think you could do that job. An excellent job as well. Let me say at the outset, I am really, really glad in the United States Senate that an incoming class is not named by your predecessors. That just would not work out well, so y'all are brave. And I assume you want to be really nice to your preceding class so that they don't give you some terrible name. Speaking of terrible names, actually, I have a call on you, Mr. Administrator, Mr. Secretary, for some strong executive leadership, which is the name of this event is ASCAN. Now, I recognize that these guys are capable of pulling out a can of whoop-ass. But I would humbly suggest next time maybe we go with a different name than ASCAN. Like the collective branding can come up with something suitable to the occasion. I want to say to each of you guys are amazing.
What
You're the best and the brightest.
the hell?
You are incredibly educated. You're
Help.
incredibly fearless. You're willing, like sardines, to get in a tiny can and sit up on top of an exploding rocket going up into the sky. And I'll tell you, little boys and little girls, they look at you and they dream of doing what y'all are doing. That's powerful. That is the future.
I don't. He lost me.
You know, Mr. Secretary, you're in my hometown of Houston. And Houston has a long and deep connection to space. One of the very first words uttered on the surface of the moon was Houston. Houston, the eagle has landed. There is a reason our baseball team is the Astros. By the way, they have all committed. They are all now Astros fans. And there's a reason our basketball team is the Rockets. And the Rockets are winning it all this year. That's my prediction right now. There's also a reason that when JFK was president, that he came to Houston.
JFK.
To Rice Stadium.
Don't know.
And he announced the commitment that we would go to the moon within a decade. And JFK explained why we were going to the moon.
Okay.
And he said we're going to the moon for the same reason that Rice plays the University of Texas.
Nope.
We do not do so because it is easy, but because it is hard.
Don't
so
ever
that's
do
what
that
y'all
again.
are here to do, is
like
to do
ever.
what is hard.
Ever.
And I will say, on the 4th of July, the President signed into law the one big beautiful bill that included, among other things, $10 billion directly for NASA.
That's
I was proud to have added that $10 billion.
Yep. Yeah, it's because the presidential budget was not very good for NASA, and the Senate had to be like,
funding
nah.
is there because we will go back to the moon. We will beat the Chinese to the moon.
Okay.
We will have a sustained human habitation on the moon or in cislunar space.
No.
We will continue to beat the Chinese in low Earth orbit. And with all of the learning from going to the moon, from Gateway, from the ISS, we will go to Mars, and the first boot that ever sets foot on the surface of the red planet will be an American astronaut, and could well be one of these boots right here.
That's what Sean Duffy just said. Okay.
And I have to admit, as a girl dad with two teenage girls aged 14 and 17, I'm particularly proud of all the women here and the fact that with Artemis, America is going to put the first woman on the surface of the moon in the history of mankind.
Guys got to learn to embrace the cringe.
Powerful, that is beautiful, and to everyone here who is so integral to JSC and to the space mission and commercial space and to the mission of American leadership in space, I want to tell all of you how incredibly proud I am of you, and to put very simply, my job is to have your back, and you have my word, I will continue to do so each and every day.
Believe that. I believe that.
With that, I want to welcome my dear friend, Congressman Brian Babin. Congressman Babin has been in Congress since 2015. He is the chairman of the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology. He's been a dentist for 35 years. So if you piss him off, he'll rip your teeth out. But don't worry, he can give you the happy gas. You won't feel it at all. And he was also in the Air Force from 1975 to 1979. So if he's honest, he really is jealous that he's not in a blue jumpsuit sitting up here as well. But he gets to be in Congress, and he is a champion for JSC. He's a champion for space, and he's a good friend. Congressman Brian Babin.
Oh, this is space. I'm in
Gingery
space.
mango sauce. Get to the sub to Joe Dierte. Okay.
Thank you, Ted. It's always tough to follow Ted Cruz. There's no way, with my old East Texas twang, there's no way I'm quite as articulate. But I just want to say how pleased I am to be here to meet every one of you.
I know,
young
Gingery, right?
folks
It's
that are
good.
going to be stepping your feet on the lunar surface, the ISS, and maybe the red planet as well. It's more exciting than I can even gather. Well, good morning. Great to be here with everyone. What an incredible privilege it is to be here to welcome this new class on this exciting day.
I'm trying to pay attention.
Of astronauts. Unbelievable. Today's announcement concludes a rigorous selection process that began more than a year ago with thousands, literally. These people were chosen from a cast of many thousands of people, of individuals, applying to join the ranks of our esteemed astronaut corps. And I want to thank every astronaut in here and former astronauts as well for your service. Space exploration has always stirred something deep within the soul of the American people. It is impossible not to be inspired by those who devote their lives to it. And I just want to say congratulations to each and every one of you. Each of you embodies the qualities that have defined NASA astronauts for more than 60 years. Think about that, 60 years. Courage, ingenuity, curiosity, and so much more are the virtues that you have. This class of astronauts will help lead the next chapter of human spaceflight. Some of you, as already been stated, will have missions on the moon. Some of you may take humanity's first steps on the red planet of Mars. All of you will carry forward missions that today exist only in our dreams. But together, we're going to make these dreams a reality. For generations, American astronauts have been a source of national pride for our country. You will now take up that mantle, carrying our flag proudly and fearlessly into space. But your mission is larger than exploration alone. At a time of growing global competition, NASA's work is more important than ever. It is national security, folks. We must be on that lunar surface first. We must remain a presence of America in low Earth orbit. This is important. We cannot fail there. We also have to hope and that the stars will guide us into all the endeavors that we are dreaming about. There's much work ahead, but the challenges will shape you, will strengthen you, and will embolden you. As a representative for Johnson Space Center, I'm so very proud that many of you will soon call Houston home and join this community that has long been the very center of America's space legacy. So please know that we believe in you, we are counting on you, and we are praying for you and for your great success. May God bless you all, and may God bless our space program. Thank you so very much.
You seem to really be pushing Mars. That's real interesting, dudes. Real interesting. Huh.
Thank you, Senator Cruz and Congressman Babin. We truly value all the support you give to NASA's efforts, and we value you as being our elected officials. And a huge thank you to Secretary Duffy. Now, I'd like to invite Chief Astronaut Joe Acaba and Deputy Chief Astronaut Nicole Mann to help us get to know the class. Joe and Nicole are responsible for managing astronaut resources and operations. They help develop astronaut
I'll talk more
flight
about
crew
that Gosaway
operation
after. I like
concepts
listening.
and make recommendations for crew assignments for future spaceflight missions.
I'm trying to keep quiet here and
including
pay attention.
astronauts
It's
to be
hard
assigned
sometimes,
to
though.
fly on Artemis. Welcome, Joe and Nicole.
They only have one type of intro music, huh? Soft power
All right,
projection
thank you,
cue.
Vanessa, and welcome to to our newest astronaut candidates. I hope you are ready for the wild ride that is coming. We asked a lot of tough questions of you during the interviews. Now's a chance for you to relax and share a little bit about yourself as individuals.
All right, now for some of you, this is not your first introduction to NASA, and we are excited to have you back. So Lauren, Yuri, and Becky, tell us about your previous experiences here at NASA and what your job was at the time of selection.
All right, well, I'm happy to kick things off. I'm Lauren Edgar, and I am so excited and honored to be here today. My NASA experience actually dates back to my days as a NASA intern working at the NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. I spent 2 summers there, and then I participated in a number of NASA programs throughout college and grad school. More recently, I've been working at the U.S. Geological Survey and helping to contribute to the exploration of the Moon and Mars. So I've participated in NASA missions, I've contributed to some of the geology training and testing, I've worked on the Mars Exploration Rover mission, Curiosity Mars Rover mission working with JPL, and most recently the Artemis 3 science team. And through these experiences, I've had the chance to see the amazing team that makes this all possible. And I just wanted to say I am so excited to be officially part of the NASA family and can't wait to be serving in this role along with all of my new classmates here. Thank you.
Listen to this guy.
Hi, my name is Yuri Kubo. Super excited to be here and deeply honored to be a part of this class as well as the NASA family. Actually, much like Lauren, I started here back in college. I was a co-op right here at the Johnson Space Center, actually. Feels a lot like a kind of a homecoming, a really nice homecoming to come back. So I spent 7 tours here at Johnson Space Center across both the engineering side of the house as well as the flight operations side. So I got a good taste of what it was to be a part of this incredible community of dedicated people. Fast forward to more recently, I was, at time of selection, I was a senior vice president of engineering at a company called Electric Hydrogen, where I was working with an amazing team trying to build electrolyzers that split water into oxygen and hydrogen to make energy for a lot of key industries. Thanks.
He didn't mention it. That's weird.
Hi, I'm Becky Lawler, and it is just an awesome honor to be able to be up here today. My previous work with NASA was actually through interagency work that NASA does. When I was in the Navy, I flew as a guest research pilot on Operation Icebridge in the NASA P3 out of northern Greenland. I was giving away the next part. My second time working with NASA I was working for the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, sometimes referred to as NOAA, and I was a NOAA commissioned officer. And I got to work with NASA on certifying instruments that were really important in forecasting hurricanes during hurricane seasons for the NOAA hurricane hunters. And at the time of my selection, I was United Airlines flight test captain and technical pilot, which is a test pilot. And I'm so excited to use all those experiences and everything to be a part of this incredible team and play my role in our endeavors as a class.
Okay, and now 2 of you come to us with a medical background. So Anna and Mel, tell us a little bit about your background and what you're excited for in the future of space medicine.
Hi, I'm Anna Menon, and my background is actually in biomedical engineering. My first role out of graduate school was here at NASA's Johnson Space Center. I worked as a biomedical flight controller, and in that role, our job was to support the medical hardware and software on the International Space Station and help keep the astronauts healthy and safe from mission control. I am so thrilled to be back here with the NASA family. And, as I reflect on the future of space medicine, I think it's really bright. We are born into 1G, and so when you go into 0G, so many things change. As more and more people venture into space and we seek to go further than ever before, we have this awesome opportunity to learn a tremendous amount to help support those astronauts and those people that are flying in those adventures and help keep them healthy and safe. So it's an exciting time to be here, and I couldn't be more thrilled and honored.
Okay, I'm just going to point this out. The 2 people that have worked at SpaceX just, didn't mention that they worked at SpaceX.
My name is Imelda Muller. I sometimes go by Mel, and previously I was an undersea medical officer with the Navy. And that experience gave me the opportunity to work with multidisciplinary teams in experimental and saturation diving. And I developed a passion for learning about the way the body adapts in extreme environments. And this led me to pursue medical residency training in anesthesia, where I deepened that understanding of how our body responds when it's under stress. I'm incredibly excited to be here alongside this team and to build on that foundation with the greater NASA community because, as Anna alluded to, with upcoming exploration missions, we are pushing the boundaries of human performance. And the lessons that we learn, the knowledge that we gain, all of these things are going to help us to excel not just in space, but in areas of human health here on Earth. The future of space medicine is now, and I'm incredibly honored to be here with this team.
We have 6 test pilots in the group. The following questions are for a few of you, our jet pilots, Adam, Cameron, and Aaron. One of the highlights of my career was being the person, along with April Jordan, to let you know that you had been selected to join the astronaut corps. The responses were varied, and they were awesome. So 2 questions. What was it like to get that call, and how do you think your flight test background will help you in your astronaut training?
Hello, everyone. I'm Adam Furman, and when I received the call, I was driving home from work, and it was a pretty busy rush hour. At first, I was just in disbelief. I had to take the first exit, but then came the excitement and just extreme gratitude for the opportunity to join this amazing team, and I was happy to finish the drive home and share that news with my wife and kids who are here with us today. As far as experience in flight test, as test pilots, we don't do anything on our own. We work with amazing teams of engineers and maintenance professionals to plan, simulate, and then execute complex and sometimes risky missions in aircraft to collect data and accomplish a mission, all while assessing risk and making smart calls as a team to do that as safely as possible. And I'm happy to try to bring some of that experience to do the same thing with the NASA team and learn from everyone at Johnson Space Center how to apply those lessons to human spaceflight.
Hey everybody, I'm Cameron Jones. Got the call from Joe and April about 2 months ago. And about 2 months and 3 days ago, I just finished a cross-country move from California to DC. So we were sitting on the floor of our new empty house, my wife, my daughter, and I, with no furniture. And the call came through, and I don't think my 1-year-old knew exactly what was going on, but I must have had a pretty big smile on my face because she let out a perfectly timed, gleeful scream that went through both sides of the call and got good laughs from the other end of the phone as well. So. Also really excited to be here, but that brings up my test pilot skill that I'm going to focus on, which is adaptability and resiliency. So maybe it's a move cross country, maybe it's a dynamic situation up in an airplane, but I think that'll transport into this domain.
Hello, I'm Erin Overcash, call sign Loft, and when I got the call, I was about a week away from joining my next squadron on deployment. So I had my sea bags packed, ready to go meet the aircraft carrier. I had just finished flight training for the day. And my spouse and I were on the couch. We get a call from an unknown number, and we both look at each other, and then we were like throwing blankets and pillows. Oh my gosh, where's the remote? Turn the TV off. And we had like one last pause of a moment, making eye contact, knowing that this phone call could change our lives, and it did. Then the way Joe phrased his part of the conversation, he effectively said, "Do you still want the job?" And the first words that I said on the phone were, "No way." I mean, yes, of course, but like, no way. And then, not specific to my flight test, but just being in the Navy, I think any sailor would tell you we spend a lot of time stuck in a hot metal box or sometimes a cold metal box in the middle of the ocean. And when you share that space with 5,000 people, there's no such thing as privacy or personal space. And you really have to get to know your people that you work with very well, both good and bad. You have to learn how to set clear boundaries and respect each other, not just to survive, but really thrive as a team. And so that's some perspective I hope to bring to our astronaut candidate group.
We're all very glad that no way meant yes. So thanks for that. Now let's talk to our two helicopter pilots, Ben and Kate. What are you most excited about for your upcoming training?
Yeah, good morning. I'm Ben Bailey, and the next 2 years of ASCAN training are exciting. Language training, flight training, spacewalk training, robotics, all of that. Each one of those would be very exciting in its own right. I would be excited to do any one of those individually, and to look and combine all of those over the next 2 years is extremely exciting. So I can't pick out a single one alone, but all of them together are just fantastic. And more than that, I'm really excited that the next 2 years will be spent with the other 9 here on stage with me. I'm really excited to see everybody's strengths as we tackle those challenges together.
Good morning. I'm Catherine Spies, and Ben knows this, but when you're flying a helicopter and you're sitting in the cockpit, there is a lot going on. The rotors are vibrating your seat, and you can see the flicker of the blades over the top of your field of view, and you're reading the instruments, and you got voices coming into the radio in your helmet, and all of these inputs are the language of your aircraft. And it's the same language that connects us across squadrons and other disciplines and even countries, and this is what makes big things happen. And I think in the next 2 years of astronaut candidate training, the thing that I'm super pumped about is learning the language of human spaceflight.
Good answer.
Not that we're not having fun already, but how about a little more fun? So y'all have worked around the world and trained for various career or personal events. So why don't you share with us something that maybe not everyone would know about you?
Okay, I'll start. I spent my first year as a naval officer in the Navy's world-class athlete program, so I was effectively a professional rugby player. I lived and trained full-time at the Olympic Training Center with the USA rugby team.
Word. Cool. All right.
I'll go next. Some of you might be familiar with a sport called Ultimate Frisbee. What some of you might not know is it became a professional sport, actually, in 2012. And I had the honor of representing Indianapolis, Indiana, as a professional athlete for the inaugural year of that sport.
Cool. Cool. Rugby.
All right, well, those who know me well, including my 9 new best friends on the stage here, know that I love to do handstands everywhere that I go. I grew up doing gymnastics, and I've always loved the outdoors, so it kind of evolved from climb a mountain to a handstand at the top, but it seems to have followed me everywhere around the world, on tops of mountains, on top of glaciers, the bottom of the Grand Canyon, pretty much everywhere that I've gone, except on this stage today.
Can't do handstands in space unless you're on the moon.
Well, Lauren, that is great news. My New Year's resolution this year was to learn to walk on my hands. I have made 0 progress. But maybe before the end of December, I can get a few pointers. Thank you.
That was interesting.
America's finest with lofty goals. We love it.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
So you all come to us with a variety of experiences, and each of those will help you during all of your training. The next few years will be filled with hard work and new adventures. This will allow you to carry that spirit of human spaceflight to the golden age of innovation and exploration. Here's a little glimpse of what lies ahead for you. Good luck.
Hi, astronaut class of 2025.
Frankie.
I'm NASA astronaut Frank Rubio, and I'm honored to welcome you to the NASA family. Congratulations on making it this far. We'll be starting on your training right away, So I hope you're ready, because this is where the fun begins. For more than 60 years, NASA has been gathering data on how humans live and work in space. And now, we're going to share that knowledge with you. Whether a mission takes you to low Earth orbit, further into space on the surface of the moon, or perhaps one day on the surface of Mars, we're going to get you ready. You'll push yourself to reach new heights, working with high-performance aircraft, experiencing the challenge of flying the T-38 supersonic jet. You'll suit up, and through the facilities here at the Johnson Space Center, you'll feel what it's like to live and work in space. The Neutral Buoyancy Lab helps simulate the weightless feeling of microgravity. You'll learn how to maneuver yourself and conduct maintenance on a spacecraft using a full-scale underwater mock-up of the International Space Station as your worksite. Back on land, you'll train inside other mock-ups of space vehicles, learning emergency procedures, maintenance, and repair of spacecraft, along with how to contribute to future developmental programs. You'll grow and discover what it means to work as a team, bonding with your fellow classmates as you endure and share experiences. You'll learn survival skills in the wilderness, where working together is the best way to overcome the challenges of a rough terrain. You'll splash into water survival training, where your crewmates are as essential as your gear to keep you afloat. You'll see things in a new way by using the latest in virtual technology. You'll take command, controlling a robotic arm made for moving spacecraft, hardware, and astronauts around the International Space Station.
Bigness!
We're going to get you into shape as you learn about staying healthy for long-duration space missions. From mitigating bone and muscle loss through exercise, to practicing first aid and understanding the basics of nutrition and self-care. But there's more to learn. You'll play a part in mission control, where you'll experience a day in the life of the people who keep watch over the astronauts and their vehicles. All these tasks and more will make up your astronaut training. These basic skills can be transferred and built upon for any space mission in your future, no matter where you go. You'll become part of a legacy of those who trained before you, continuing the adventure they started and looking ahead to the future of human exploration. So suit up. It's time to get to work and let the astronaut training begin.
Next up, we have NASA's Associate Administrator, Amit Chatriya, who serves as the highest-ranking civil servant at the agency,
and
as the senior advisor to the
SpaceX is live with the
administrator.
L-48 mission, guys.
Amit leads the agency's 10 center directors, as well as the Mission Directorate Associate Administrators at NASA headquarters. Please join me in welcoming Amit to the stage.
SpaceX is live.
I'm going to get us on track. Time-wise, it's great to be here. It's really an honor. Just since I do want to add a little bit to the concept of the astronaut candidate, just for Chairman Cruz's benefit. I'm not an astronaut, obviously. I was a flight director several careers ago in the agency, and I was with the 2013 astronaut class. That was when we combined parts of the astronaut office with the rest of flight operations, and we were combining our parties too. So we had a small class. There was 3 of us. The 2013 class, the 8 balls, they were there. We were combining our parties, and it was funny because Christina Cook, who I think is here, she said, "Hey, you know, we're called ASCANs. What do you call new flight directors or flight director candidates?" And all 3 of us said, "Flight directors." So you'll get used to that after a while.
Give me 1 second, guys. I got to set the scene.
So I'll be really brief here. You guys all took the oath. You know what it means. Some of you took it before. You took it again here. Now your role. You guys are all amazing people. Everything you've done, you represented yourself, represented your families. Everything that you've done, put into the world, came from you. Now everything you do flows from the majesty of the United States. Don't ever forget that. And all your families that are here, they're part of our family now too. I'd love to hear the kids. I'd love to hear everybody here that's joined to support you. You're part of our family as well. Everyone here, their job is to make sure that you can be successful, that you're part of our family. Exploration, many people have talked about in many more eloquent ways than I can talk about what exploration means. I'll tell you, I'll just add one thing. Exploration is it's about coming home. And my commitment to you as your leader is to make sure that you come home. And I'll ask everybody in this room that feels responsible to make sure that they can bring the crew home as well. On your feet, please. We're going to tell you, we're going to bring you home.
Oh.
Congratulations. Welcome to the NASA family. I look forward to you guys doing amazing things. We'll be right there beside you. So I'll leave it to the director, Vanessa Weiss.
Amit is an engineer through and through. Just, yeah, we're going to bring you home. Bye. We got to keep on time.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Amit. That was awesome. This class is as spirited as they are talented, and we cannot wait to see what their skills, creativity, and promise bring to our astronaut corps. Thank you all for joining us today and celebrating in this moment. And thank you to our esteemed guests and speakers. We appreciate your support for this new class of astronaut candidates as they embark on their training journey. Today has been a celebration of drive, determination, and devotion. As we wrap up, I want to invite all of our astronaut candidates to center stage because this next part is for you. Let's give them a round of applause.
This is wrapping up. I'm going to get rid of the double box, dude. We'll just bring up the coverage here.
Astronaut candidates, as you begin to take your first steps in your training journeys, you are gearing up to join a rich and storied history of humans who have dared to reach beyond.
No, but I didn't watch any
You will build
football
on
this
over
weekend.
60 years of human spaceflight exploration experience. You will seek knowledge and understanding and share it with the world. And when you go, you will go together, and we will all be with you. Astronaut candidate Group 24, we are proud of you, and your country is proud of you. Your next giant leaps start here. Thank you, and Godspeed.
Cool. We will talk more about that in a second, but we're going to flip gears real fast right here to a Falcon 9 launch.
Strong back, and that's the same structure, just a different name.
There you go.
The TE plays a very active role in launch.
Don't know if you realize this launch is out of Vandenberg. This is the L-48 mission. National Reconnaissance Office launch number 48, so L-48 for short. This is a National Reconnaissance mission, so we have no idea where it's going. We can barely see the rocket, so we know it's Vandenberg. Booster flying today is 1081 on its 18th flight, and it will be doing a return to launch site. It's going to land over there somewhere. The landing pad is down there somewhere. Somewhere. This is SpaceX's 120th mission for Falcon 9 this year. 538th Falcon 9 mission total. So, you know, that's pretty good. There's a rocket somewhere in there.
Propellant is loaded late into the countdown.
Propellant is loading right now. No, they are working on first stage liquid oxygen topping and then second stage liquid oxygen topping off here as well. It should be basically wrapping up first stage and second stage tanking at about the same time. You'll hear the calls for them in the mission.
The process will wrap up in 2 steps. Coming up shortly, the first stage will finish around the T-3 minute mark. Then the second stage will finish LOX loading about a minute later. Looking ahead at T-minus 60 seconds, Falcon 9 will enter startup.
Pogo. Stage 1 LOX load is complete.
Stage 1 LOX loading is complete, which wraps up the propellant loading for the first stage. Now, after Falcon 9 has entered startup at the T-minus 60 second mark, the rocket's onboard flight computers will take over the countdown. And from there on out, the countdown is fully autonomous. Just inside of T-minus 2 seconds, the 9 Merlin 1D engines will ignite. And once they're at full power, Falcon 9 will lift off the pad and begin its climb to orbit. At just under T-minus 2 minutes and 30 seconds, the payload remains healthy and the rocket is tracking no issues. With that, Falcon 9 is nearly fully fueled and heading into the final minutes before launch. The next major milestone that we're watching out for will be the completion of Stage 2 liquid oxygen loading, and that should be within the next 10 seconds.
Benji, how many times did Falcon 9 launch in 2024? I think it was like 130 something, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. It's like
Stage
100.
2 LOX load is complete.
I want to say 133.
With that confirmation, Falcon 9 is now
right.
loaded with 1.1 million pounds of propellant across the first and second stages. And at this point, you've probably also noticed the white clouds venting from the rocket through the fall.
Gas close out.
That's condensation from venting the cold oxygen gas overboard to maintain nominal pressure on vehicle. Gas closeouts have started, which refers to the venting and shutting down of gaseous systems such as topping off the tanks and sealing vents to maintain pressure.
RTLS spoiled.
At this point, we are standing by for confirmation that Falcon 9 is in startup at the T-minus 1 minute
right
mark.
There? That means she's got a full tank of gas. Well, oxidizer to be fair, but inside of 1 minute, Falcon 9
is in startup.
Should go into startup. There it is.
At this point, the autonomous flight computers
132.
have taken
Thanks,
over the
Les.
launch countdown, and stages 1 and 2 are pressing for launch.
Everything's
Next
fine,
up,
Chief.
we'll hear from the launch
We're good.
director for the final go.
Nice to know that in Silent Hill, humidity
LD is go for launch.
Launch rockets. Nice. Launch director reports
We've just
go.
heard the launch director give that final go, so let's listen in to the final seconds of the countdown.
T-minus 30 seconds.
T-minus 30 seconds.
I just said that. $20.
T-minus 15 seconds.
10.
T-minus 10.
Pad dealer
9,
system is on.
8, 7, 6,
Sound
5,
suppression water system
4,
is
3,
on.
2, 1.
Ignition.
Ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go SpaceX, go NRL 48.
Okay. Got a late morning launch out of Vandenberg. National
Vehicles
Reconnaissance.
pitching downrange.
National Reconnaissance Office L48
MOD
mission
chamber pressures are nominal.
is in the air. Got a good call for pitch kick and good call for chamber pressures here. Vehicle's now executing roll program, which will align Falcon 9 on its proper flight azimuth for orbital insertion.
At T plus 30 seconds and counting, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Vandenberg Space Force Base. And in just a few seconds, we'll throttle the engines down in preparation for max Q, a period of maximum aerodynamic pressure. This is a critical moment during flight because the combined stresses
Power and
caused
telemetry nominal.
by Falcon 9 accelerating through the atmosphere and the ambient static pressure are at their
Should get a
greatest.
call for supersonic.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
To help go from vertical to horizontal, the first stage also performed a pitch kick just after liftoff. This is a maneuver known as a gravity turn, where the engines gimbal a small amount, and it turns the first stage from going straight up to
Max Q.
horizontal.
Got a call for maximum dynamic
We just
pressure.
heard the confirmation
I
of Max
noticed the
Q, where
UI
the
change
rocket
for
experienced
NDS, yeah.
the greatest
It's
mechanical
flat.
stress during flight.
And it gets curved.
The
the
rocket
further you
typically
get
needs
into
to go
orbit, which is cool.
17,500 miles per hour horizontally in
line,
order to
dudes.
avoid being pulled back to Earth and get into orbit. You can track our progress to orbit by watching the left corner of your display. That's showing first stage, velocity, and altitude.
This is
Second
space.
stage
I'm in
engine
space.
chill
Now,
has
coming up,
started.
we have several events in quick succession.
Good shot of
We should hear
Lompoc
all
over
this
there
called
on
out
the
by
right.
mission control, starting with main engine cutoff, or MECO, then stage separation, stage 1 flip, second engine start 1, and boost back burn. Main engine cutoff is when we shut down all 9 M1D engines on the first stage. Stage separation is when the first and second stages of Falcon 9 decouple from one another. Stage 1 flip is when the booster uses its nitrogen gas thrusters to flip the booster's orientation around. Second engine start 1, we will light the MVAC engine on the second stage for the first time, and after that is boost back burn, where the engines will light to place stage 1 on a trajectory to the landing zone. So keep an eye out for those events happening back to back.
So the 9 engines are going to shut down. You'll see them. There they go. Should get a good stage here. And watch, the first stage
confirmed.
will flip and turn around.
Eco.
There it goes. It's firing its thrusters there. Going to flip the first stage around. Reignition.
MVAC startup.
Bye-bye. Look, there's the first stage pulling away. It's turning around.
And there we
Now,
have confirmation of MECO stage separation.
it looks like it's going up, but because we're looking up at it, the first stage is actually, it went like this. It flipped 180 degrees and it's pushing away. It looks like it's going up because we're looking at it from the launch site. So it looks like the first stage is going up and away from us. In reality, it's coming right back towards us, which is cool. I think it's really neat. Should get a call for fairing separation there, but we're not going to see it because the National Reconnaissance
Coming up
Office
next will
doesn't
be the
want people
shutdown of the
seeing
boost
their
back
payload.
burn.
Nitrogen
We are
thrusters
currently
there doing work.
at T plus 3 minutes and about 30 seconds into today's
shut
mission,
down
and
on
the
the boost
next
back
major
burn?
milestone is coming up at the T plus 6 minute mark, when you should see the first stage's entry burn on your screen. To start that entry burn, we will be lighting the 3 M1D engines on the first stage, starting with the center engine, known as E9, and followed shortly by the E1 and E5 engines. This is similar to pumping the brakes to slow the vehicle down as it passes back into Earth's atmosphere. We need to do this to slow down and reduce re-entry forces, which will help us recover and reuse the first stage. During the entry burn, Falcon 9 is decelerating by firing its Merlin engines, but the vehicle is still moving really fast. And this causes it to fly through Merlin's exhaust gases, also known as the rocket's plume, which deposits a layer of soot on the vehicle's surface. That's why our flight-proven vehicles look the way that they do. That soot comes from the carbon-based fuel that Falcon 9 uses, and with each flight, that layer of soot builds up a little bit more on the surface of the vehicle.
So the first stage is rotating to get realigned.
Both vehicles are on a nominal trajectory.
You can't see the
We
landing
are
sign.
still
It's in the
more than
clouds
1
somewhere.
minute away from the beginning of the entry burn.
But you'll see here,
On the left side
when
of
the
your
entry
screen,
burn
you can see
starts,
the
it'll
first
stop
stage
that rotation.
decelerating and making its way back to Earth.
There it goes.
At the request of our customer, we will not be displaying any views of Stage 2 for today. We do have some great views of the Falcon 9 first stage on its
Those are the
return
nitrogen
journey.
thrusters.
And it's not only using those Merlin engines, but also nitrogen gas thrusters and titanium grid fins for control.
I just said that.
Reusability is key to lowering the
Oh,
cost of
that's
spaceflight,
cool.
enabling more investments in critical space infrastructure.
So that's the first
The
stage
Falcon
coming
9
back
first
towards
stage
us right now.
supporting
It's flying
today's
business
mission
end
is
first.
performing this entry burn
So
for
it's
its
flying
18th
backwards.
time. And the payload fairings are also flight proven, with one half flying for its 28th time and the other for its 27th.
Okay. Should get a start of the entry
Now,
burn
we
here,
are
my
about
favorite
15
part.
seconds away from the beginning of the entry burn, which is the second of 3 burns that Falcon 9 will perform on its way back to Vandenberg. You'll see the engine graphics light up as the engines themselves do on the bottom of your screen.
Supersonic retro propulsion initiate. There it goes. Oh, look at that.
The entry burn has begun for the first stage.
It's nice. The
This will
engines are
last
protecting
about
Falcon
15
9
seconds,
from
and
re-entry
again, we're
heat.
slowing the vehicle down
Nope.
in preparation for its
That
final
it looks like
burn
a
and
heat
landing.
shield. Isn't that cool? Now the grid fins are going to do some work. They're going to steer that thing right in. Look at this shot. All
The
right.
entry burn is shut down on the first stage, and coming up next will be the landing burn in a little bit less than a minute from now. The Merlin engines on the Falcon first stage are optimized for sea level,
She's
and they
falling
each
with
achieve
style.
around 190,000 pounds of thrust each during ascent and descent.
Get over here.
At liftoff, Falcon 9's first stage has thrust greater than 5 747
Outgassing
airplanes
on the
at
engines.
full power. In comparison, the single MVAC
Stage
engine
1 FTS has saved.
Okay.
The
Should
single
get a landing
MVAC
bird
engine
here
on
in
the
a
second
moment.
stage has a much wider nozzle than the M1D sea-level engines, and it's optimized to operate in space, producing 225 pounds of thrust in vacuum.
When did this booster previously fly? 31 days ago.
Now the landing burn has begun for the
Here we
Falcon
go.
9 first stage. This is the final burn the booster will perform before landing.
Okay. You get a call for landing legs. Where is the landing pad? You can't even see it. Oh my goodness. That's awesome.
Another successful
That was
landing of our
trippy.
Falcon 9 rocket.
Whoa.
This was the
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
This was the 18th launch and landing for this first stage.
What?
Now, as a reminder, we will not be showing any Stage 2 or deployment views at the request of our customer. So with that landing of the Falcon booster, we will
Pretty
be bringing
good.
our webcast to a close.
Pretty good, man.
We'd like to thank the NRO for entrusting us with today's mission, and we'd also like to thank the Range and FAA for their support. If you're interested in more launch coverage, head over to
Yes,
spacex.com/launches for the most up-to-date information.
Dude, that
and when
was-
you're there, check out our new department
Wait, what was that?
during our upcoming launches with details
Oh, the
such as
departure board. All right. Dude, that landing was trippy. I was like, wait, where's the ground? I can't see it. I can't see anything. But there was schmutz on the camera, so it was making it look all weird. You could still see some parallax from the clouds moving there, but it looks like it's staying stationary, dude. What an optical illusion that is. And then the next camera's like it punching down dead center. That was weird, man. That was weird. I've never seen it quite like that before. That was cool. Very cool. You don't need no stinking landing badges. You don't need no stinking badges.
reminder, we will not be
So, I know what people are going to ask. How the heck does it know? Falcon 9 has on the bottom, it has a downward facing radar that's looking for the radar signature of the pad. It's looking for it. So it can see it. It can see it even though we can't see it. Which is that's super neat. That's how it finds the pad. It's looking for the it has like a ground scanning radar, and it's looking for it, which is I still think that's really cool, man. That's pretty good stuff, man. So that was the L-48, and we have a new NASA astronaut class. So it knows where it is because it knows where it isn't. Yeah. Some good space news today. There's some good stuff. Yeah. Okay, antics aside from Ted Cruz doing a very, very awful New England accent. Like, Ted, don't do that again. If you need somebody to do it for you, I got you. I can do that. But please don't ever do that again. Like, ever. Ever. I'm sure you saw, but Artemis 2 mission briefings tomorrow and Wednesday. Really, Kevin? Oh, all right. Buongiorno. Ciao, come stai, Bodojo? Yeah, if you need somebody to do it, I'll take care of it. I can do a pretty good impression because I grew up with this accent my entire early part of my life. This is the exact... JFK comes from the exact neck of the woods that I do. Just 1 or 2 towns over from where I spent my formative years. Yeah, so believe me, I got it. I got it. Let me do it. With that being said, dudes, very interesting. Those are some pretty lofty freaking goals that they said, guys. Those are some pretty lofty goals. Sean Duffy, Representative Bavin, and Senator Ted Cruz all reaffirmed beating China to the moon and getting to Mars after that, which is... you know, if nothing, it's consistent. That is consistently what they've been saying for, especially Sean Duffy, who's the interim administrator of NASA. That is what they've been saying for a long time. Basically, Sean Duffy's been saying that basically since he got there. And you know, like, I almost admit the consistency. I almost admit, not admit. That's not the right way to say that. I'll say that the consistency is. I appreciate it. I appreciate a consistent message with NASA. That's really where it starts. But the thing is okay, all right. Fellas, at this point, you know, Ted Cruz talked about getting an extra $10 billion for NASA, basically putting the Artemis 4 and Artemis 5 mission on the books from the One Big Beautiful Bill. And that's fine. That is true. He did do that. I mean, what they won't tell you is that the budget for NASA was frankly awful, and they had to infuse it into the Big Beautiful Bill to get funding. Not ideal. However, fellas, it's not just about money at this point. It's not about money. You need a plan. You need a good plan. And that's kind of what I'm waiting on. I like the consistency in the message. I like the idea. NASA should be bold. They should be doing this. Dude, I don't think it's even about money at this point. I think NASA has the cash to get done what they need to get done. However, the plan is still dog poo-poo. You notice that Sean Duffy in that speech, he basically said, we're going to go to the moon or to Gateway, and I didn't like that. No. It's to the surface of the moon. Don't give yourself an out. You give yourself an out, that's what'll happen. I didn't like that. Everything else, I must say, fellas, like, I don't hate it. It's just, okay, talk is cheap. I do appreciate the consistent message, but talk is cheap in spaceflight. Let's go. Let's put these astronauts to work. Let's put our engineers to work. At this point, it's just really about getting it done more expediently than anything. We need to get, you know, from NASA's point of view, you need to get SLS running on a regular schedule. You have to do this way. If you don't do this way, it's not, like, once again, you give yourself an out. And giving yourself an out like that, I didn't like. He said, you know, because he said, oh, we're going to go to the moon to stay, or Gateway. No. Convenient. No. Don't do that. Because if you do that, the second you do that, that's what's going to happen. I don't like that. Other than that, though, I do appreciate it. But once again, we need a plan. Is SLS a good enough rocket to be able to do a lunar architecture by itself? It could be. You need a good plan to do it. You need a good plan. Could you do Martian-style architecture with SLS? Yes, you could. It needs a plan. Right now, basically everything from the core stage up is insufficient architecture for even exploring the surface of the moon. So, I like the messaging. I really do. I like the idea. I like the plan. It's a bold idea. It's something we should absolutely do. What's the plan? You're going to need to discuss technical details one sooner rather than later. They need a plan not dictated in detail by Congress. Correct. And spoiled, that is the precise reason why I like the president taking a stand on this. I mean, it's coming from him. Duffy's just saying what the executive branch wants. And you know what, dude? You don't say whatever you want about the president. You say, hey, he's taking spaceflight seriously. I appreciate the consistent messaging because I want Congress and the executive branch in Congress, I want them to fund a plan. And I want NASA to come up with a plan. And that's really what I'm looking for. Because Congress kind of deciding the stakeholder expectations for a vehicle is going to give you no stakeholder expectations, and that's where we've been in. That's really what needs to change at this point. You know, we have a super heavy launch vehicle 8.4 core. You could put an 8.4 fairing on it if we had a good plan for it, right? We need a plan. Architecturally, you need to use what you've been given and make up a good architecture with it. Because what we're going to do right now is not going to get us. It, like I said before, it might get us to the moon with HLS, maybe like ultimate, like SpaceX worst case scenario, probably 2028, I would say, 2027, maybe. With Blue Moon, probably 2028 or 2029. It's totally, that's totally a thing. I think SpaceX will do it quicker. And Blue, I don't know. It remains to be seen. They could. They got to figure out whatever's going on with New Glenn and fix that, right? But you know, we need a good plan of attack. Now is the time to get all the Artemis missions figured out. Really figure out what they want to do, what missions are going to Gateway, what missions are going down to the surface, your duration stays, what landers are you using for which missions. Not maybe we'll use Blue Moon Mark II, or you know, the first 2 missions are HLS. From there, like, what are we doing here? You need a plan. You need an architectural decision. We got to start planning out these missions, not correlative to dates necessarily. The overarching stakeholder expectation is beat the Chinese to the moon via our return. Our return should be before their first attempt to the moon. That is your stakeholder expectation. I appreciate the consistency there, because that's where it starts. It starts from the top. You need a goal, and you need to go with it. Do some people like that goal? Probably not. Do I like that goal? Hey, it's something. It's something better than kicking the can down the road. Not gonna lie to you. Some people might not want to hear that, but it's true. A consistent, clear, bold goal is how you start to do this. Has the New Glenn launch slipped at all? If I recall correctly, they were planning to launch at the end of September. Yeah, Blue, something like that, dude. It's going to be Q4 this year, I think. That is precisely what I'm talking about, Spoiled. You need to fix that. NASA needs to get back into the game of denoting, taking the stakeholder expectations and building architecture around those stakeholder expectations. Now, unfortunately, core stage and boosters, that's kind of locked in stone at this point. But, dude, you know, that's fine. You can put SLS to work, dude. That is absolutely a thing. You could do it. Put SLS to work. It needs a better upper stage, and it needs a bigger fairing, and Orion needs a better service module. Those are the changes that I would really enact. You need a higher energy upper stage from it. The EUS is okay. It's not... It's really designed around just getting to Gateway, and because it's only designed, it and Orion are only designed around getting to Gateway, that kind of really shoehorns your lander architecture. Long story short, because some bonehead decided going to the Gateway first was a good idea, which, once again, not the worst idea. It's not the worst idea if it's 2015. It's a terrible idea if it's 2025 and you're trying to get back to the surface of the moon by the 2030s. That's a terrible idea. The Gateway was not made of expediency. That project was not formulated out of expediency or a bold goal. That's the problem. So SLS, from basically the core stage up, needs to be refactored if you really wanted to do this. Will it happen? Don't know. You need a higher energy architecture, upper stage. And maybe if they worked on boil-off mitigation with the EUS could do your circularization for a lunar lander, and you could do an LOR style architecture. You know, Orion goes to the Gateway with a transfer vehicle, right? Transfer vehicle gets you to your lunar lander. Lunar lander is in a lower orbit or something, and you get your transfer vehicle to the lunar orbiter or something. But putting Gateway out in that rectilinear halo orbit really kind of shoehorns your architecture. You either need a gigantic lander that can basically go from lunar capture all the way down to the surface, in which case you'd probably be looking at a 3-stage lander architecture, or you need some other vehicle. Like SLS bring a 2-stage or a single-stage variant out there in one shot with a cargo fairing, because Orion is not adequate to get. You're going to need a 3-stage lander if you're launching on a Block 1B. This is the time to really look at this architecture, because once again, redesigning an upper stage is not that big of a deal. Redesigning the core stage or something at this point would be a big problem. I say at this point, with the hand that NASA's dealt, you work on optimizing production of core stages, and you start a crash course into building a higher capable upper stage and cargo fairing for SLS. Can we still use the J2X? At this point, I would look for a more off-the-shelf variant. There's plenty of good upper stage engines flying nowadays that you could utilize. I'd be looking at New Glenn's 2nd stage engines. Those could be adequate for doing what you're trying to do, for building a higher energy upper stage. Dude, it would be bold, but restarting J2 production could be useful. Yeah, restarting the J2X program would be nice. But once again, it's not. NASA needs to go. They need to learn how to be expedient again, and that starts with the executive branch making a very bold goal, because that forces expediency. You know. Subsequent missions have already been defined, but I haven't seen any concrete plans yet, either or an engineering. My fear is that this program will end up like the Apollo program, where they just go and just try to beat China. Well, I think that Starship HLS and Blue Moon Mark II are a hedge against that, Bodojo. We have the commercial arm of the United States space programs backing up a national program. I've always said that the commercial program should back up our national program from a systems engine, like from a system architecture level. So, i.e., if NASA can land on the moon, SpaceX should also. NASA can focus on doing the bold goals, and then commercial can supplement that with resupply. And so basically NASA can keep going. Long story short, NASA wants to put flag and footprints on the moon before China. That's all fine and dandy, right? You have Starship HLS, and then you have Starship HLS, and you have Blue Moon right behind it. You know, no one's going to sit there and be like, oh, this is going to cost too much, you know, even though we have these lower cost solutions that were not born of expediency, but sustainability there to back up the program. No one's going to do that, because that puts you in a scenario like the ISS with commercial crew. The commercial supplements the national program. I've said it needs to be this way I've been saying this for the last 10 years. NASA needs to be doing their own thing. They have to. And SpaceX needs to back them up. And some people don't like hearing that. And dude, you know, like the messed up thing is I'm saying that as a Starship fanboy. You know, NASA can go do their flags and footprints, and then you don't just build out a moon base, you build out a moon city using Starship HLS, and then on top of that, you get the big modules there with Starship, and then you have Blue Moon Mark II to back it up. Use the moon as your training ground for Mars. Boom, done. NASA can focus on their moon to Mars architecture. SpaceX and Blue can just keep resupplying, and Northrop Grumman by to extent as well. They can keep resupplying this lunar even gateway, or, you know, a moon base or something, while NASA can really focus their systems development architecture on Martian stuff. And if that means just buying a Starship and filling it with a bunch of scientific equipment, so be it. Whatever. I disagree. I want to see commercial push ahead, so NASA has to work for it to be able to compete. Yeah, Graham, you that's fine if you want to disagree, but look, man, I don't mean to play the age card. I'm not trying to be condescending. But every time somebody has said that NASA can do it for cheaper if they use this commercial alternative we've ended up with a more fragmented and less capable space program. In fact, anytime somebody proposes that NASA should do something for cheaper, we've ended up with NASA themselves have ended up with less capability. SpaceX is an anomaly in this regard. What other commercial contractor is able to fill the void like them? Like, what if SpaceX didn't exist? Would commercial partnerships even be successful? What, Starliner and Cygnus? Any news on when Dream Chaser is going to try a launch? I have no idea what happened to that thing, Tigris. Ship 38 is being worked on not being worked on right now. It's here. I'll bring it up while we're talking. Tripwired, what's up? And Artemis 3 is entirely dependent on Starship on-orbit refueling, right? Which we've not seen at all yet. Wild to commit to such an aggressive timeline for the moon human landing without any of that capability being demonstrated yet. Kennedy committed to the lunar architecture in 1962 or 1963 before we even, that we just put somebody on orbit. So, look, man, you got to be bold. You have to. If we had gone by that argument, dude, we would have never landed on the moon, right? Dude, seriously, when Kennedy gave his speech September 10th, I believe it was 63, the Rice Play Texas speech that Ted Cruz talked about in the astronaut candidate thing. When he gave that speech, we had barely launched somebody into orbit. Barely. Done a couple of Mercury missions. John Glenn went into space and orbited, and that's about it. The Saturn V was a twinkle in von Braun's eye at that point. They barely got the SA-5 mission off the pad, which was basically a dud upper stage, a dud CSM, a dud launch escape system, and a barely functioning Saturn I first stage. You got to be bold with this stuff, dude, and it's easy to doubt, but being bold is what's going to get us there. That historically has proven to be accurate. For sure, that era was absolutely incredible how everything came together in such a short timeline. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. We got to do that again. You have to do it again, man. Okay, let me rephrase that. That's not exactly right. If we want to do what the president and the executive branch's goals are at this point, and Congress seems to be on board. Congress seems to be on board here. The administrator seems to be on board. The president seems to be on board. If we want to do this, it's not even about getting NASA more money at this point. You have such a fragmented architecture because we chose to have a commercial company make our spacesuits, and we chose to have a commercial company do our lander. It's such a fragmented architecture. At this point, what I would do is bring those programs in-house. Keep the AXEMU as a backup. Maybe HLS as a backup too, but you want flags and footprints. You got flags and footprints. If you want to do that, you need a higher energy upper stage. You need to go back to doing something like Apollo. I know that's not what people want to hear, because you could make the argument that flags and footprints aren't sustainable. Now, I'm not saying cancel HLS or SLD or AXEMU. I'm not saying cancel any of that. I'm saying keep going with that, but refactor NASA's own internal architecture to not be dependent on commercial operations. Meaning NASA should be able to get to the moon with our own lander. Build your own lander. You need a LEM. You need to get a LEM on the books. Orion needs an upgraded service module if you want to do something like this. I'm sorry, those are just the facts. You want to beat them back to the moon, you want to do it expediently, you're going to need crash course funding for a lander, for an upgraded service module, and an upgraded upper stage. You basically need to refactor from the core stage up if you want to do something like this. Yeah, dude, think about it, man. 5 years, that's doable. It's doable. That's doable. Sure. Absolutely. We got to want to. And I think we want to. I think we do. Congress seems to be on, everybody seems to be on board here. So maybe it'll happen. But who knows? Why does NASA need 100 different people to develop everything from a suit to a coffee mug? Because, well, Graham, that's what I'm talking about. Because for the last 10 years, everybody's been looking at the success of the Commercial Crew Program in SpaceX and the Commercial Orbital Transport Services, and we've been basically using that as a feeder button to get a food pellet like a lab rat that's addicted to freaking drugs. Of like, oh, this is our solution, and commercial. How many times has that worked out? Look at what's going on with commercial low Earth orbit destinations. Are we gonna have something else to go to after the ISS? Look at commercial lunar payload services. Now, arguably, CLPS has been a very good program, but if NASA's not willing to shoulder the low risk of these missions by risking their $400 million Viper rover, right? It defeats the entire purpose of it. Right? Like, that defeats the entire purpose. Now, I'm happy Viper has a mission. That's all fine and dandy. That's great. But if NASA's not willing to shoulder the risk of these commercial companies by putting Viper on Peregrine, I firmly believe that's, you know, NASA got cold feet with Astrobotic, and that's why they canceled Viper. Like, I'm pretty sure that's right. But that's another story. Look at the AXEMU. You know, this commercial, they hired Axiom to build their spacesuits when Axiom was already contracted to build extension modules for the ISS, like to add a space station to the ISS so NASA would have a destination. Because they also gave them a contract for the AXEMU, the lunar spacesuit, Axiom had to divide their resources, making their space station modules late and the spacesuits late. Well, the spacesuits aren't arguably late yet, but hitting the let's commercialize this button because this program isn't working because we didn't fund it correctly is not an excuse. That's not a good way to run space programs. But we've been doing it incessantly for the last 10 years. It's not great, dude. Don't you think bringing it in-house will take a long time? No. If you have a goal and a deadline, no. In fact, and that's what I mean, Milan. That's what I believe with the president has. The president has a very consistent message, or at least Sean Duffy has a very consistent message about what NASA is going to be doing over the next 5 years. Now, keep in mind, this doesn't happen overnight. It's going to need to happen per, if you turn a phrase, right? It doesn't happen overnight. Now, it can't happen overnight, but it's going to happen. It's going to need to happen proverbially in the next week or so, right? Like, time is of the essence. NASA can scale. Let's see if they can still do it. I think they can. I think the system is there. But we need to. You're good. Like, these are very bold goals to have. Very bold goals to have. NASA needs a plan. It's not even about more money at this point. NASA has enough cash to get this done. You might need a little bit of a bump in funding to refactor SLS's architecture from the core stage up, but you need a good plan. They need a kick in the behind, and that's going to come from the administrator and the president setting your goal. Okay, the goal is to get there before the Chinese have their first landing. Okay. Hey, Dodo, 52-month resub, and Sci-Fi Bradley had a 61-monther as well. NASA, yeah, they seem to be committed to the EUS, good fella. I don't like the EUS is a great stage, but here's the thing. The EUS isn't bad. Gateway isn't necessarily bad. what I like to say, and I said it a second ago, what I like to say is that architecture is all really, really nice if it's 2016. I said 2015 before. That's really nice if we did that 7-8 years ago. If we had Gateway up and running by 2020, that would have been great. It would be perfect for springboarding to the moon at this point. But now you are in a race of expediency. The goals are changed, at least at the executive level, which denotes what NASA's goals are, right? Now it's changed. Now it's get there before the Chinese. Okay. Okay, we want a space race. You're going to need to back up this talk with something. The EUS Gateway, that's way sustainable. Right? But now your program, now you changed the Artemis program from being a sustainable program to getting back before the Chinese and then staying. If you're going to do that, you're going to need architecture that it favors expediency, just like Saturn. So what I'm telling you is put an S4B, a LEM, and a CSM on top of an SLS and then fucking send it. But that might need a little bit of bump in cash, dude. Goals changed because they took too long. Bingo. We have these pipe dreams of exploring the moon sustainably, dude. Exploring the moon sustainably is fine, but that message don't ring very well when you can't get there. That's like Christopher Columbus saying, "Oh yeah, I want to find a better way to the Dutch East Indies." Okay, what boat are you going to use? What? I'm sorry? What do you mean? Yeah, what boat are you going to be? There's, an ocean in the way. Oh, don't worry about it. We want to explore trade routes more sustainably. It's like, what is the point of exploring the moon? It's there. Steve, it's there. We've only scratched the surface of that planet, quite actually. I refuse to believe that we could figure out everything from a planet or a celestial body just by sitting there looking at it for 50 years. You want to really learn, you want to really understand. A guy up there with a shovel is going to be able to get you more science than a bajillion freaking probes. Case in point, Apollo 17. When I say we've only scratched the surface of the moon, Apollo 17 was the only Apollo mission that actually had a scientist on it, Harrison Schmitt. He's a geologist. It was the only mission to carry a scientist. Everything else were test pilots. And that's fine. Test pilots are all fine and dandy. But we ain't going to learn. We can't claim to be, the foremost experts on lunar geology and all this other stuff from a guy digging a hole about this deep on the surface of the moon 53 years ago. Why go to the moon? I would say even though we have a pretty dang good understanding of how it all works, going there and proving that all of our probes and all of these satellites that say all this stuff about the moon probably be a good idea. Scientifically, who knows what we're going to find? It's right there, dude. It's not far. On a cosmic scale, it's our backyard. That's like looking out your backyard, the door to your backyard at your house and being like, yeah, I see it's green. Seems to be some water out there. Might be a pool. Yeah, it looks like there's a metal structure that's used for cooking meat. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, I'm just going to go back inside. No, you don't do that. Go out there and use the grill. Go out there and use the pool. Go out there and play in the grass. Hell, like I said, the moon ain't green, but you get what I'm trying to say. What is grass? Don't worry about it. You'll figure it out later. Oh, fellas, hold up. Let me bring this up here. We got frost lines. Can I touch the grass? Sure. Hey, Wharton, I had the opportunity to interview Luca Parmentano on a couple of occasions, and I found him skeptical about private companies acting as a crutch for government space agencies. He's right, Wharton. He's exactly right. And once again, I'm saying that as somebody that loves SpaceX. I'm a tank watcher through and through. I sit here and watch this all the time. I have it on during stream. I have it on my other screen right now. I have Starbase Live up 2 times because I have it on my other demo screen up there. You know? I love what SpaceX is doing. I love it. But NASA needs to do their own thing too. Because I'm not saying that SpaceX and NASA are inherently at odds with each other. I don't think that's right. I think that, NASA's goals aren't logistical goals. NASA's goals are science and exploration, And if it comes to the day, like where Starship is an off-the-shelf component, I think NASA should be, dump SLS and buy a Starship pad. And buy Starships. The government uses pre-made vehicles all the time, just like, the government would buy an F-150 or, pick your government vehicle. But does that mean that there isn't specialized government vehicles for purpose? No. Look at the LLV. The LLV right there. There you go. That's a specialized government vehicle. Right? It's, this is SLS in this analogy. Does that mean you couldn't do this with a truck? No, you could, but this works just fine. But do you have government procuring F-150s? Sure, there's, this is a stupid example, that's going to piss people off, but Customs and Border Patrol uses F-150s. They have tons of F-150s for fleet vehicles. Does that mean we aren't using LLVs? No. You can do, heck, even the U.S. Post Office would probably be more apt, right? They have all kinds of vehicles. They buy Mercedes vehicles. They buy, milk trucks and stuff for moving mail around. They buy all kinds of box trucks, but that doesn't mean they don't have a specialized vehicle for purpose, right? NASA should buy Starships in the future. They should buy they should procure an entire launch pad for their spaceflight architecture in the future if Starship proves itself out, But until then, I would say having something like an LLV or a specialized vehicle would be a good way to hedge your bets so you don't wind up with nothing. Because the last time we played this game, where a commercial alternative was even remotely on the table, NASA decided to throw away their entire commercial space program at the whims of commercial Falcon. And, they ran off of that as a potential replacement, and it wasn't. Might I briefly call your attention to my project? Yeah, sure, man. What's up? Oh. What are you going to do with that? A 96 Z28 mystery box. It has an electrical issue. You got it for $1,800. Huh. All right. Okay. All right, man. Petrie, what's up, man? $10 super chat. How you doing today? I'm good, man. I'm good. We can buy a Starship Super Heavy the same way as we buy fighter jets. Yeah, I think that should be a thing in the future, Rarest, but that's not a thing right now. You can't... If expediency is our goal, Starship end-to-end architecture and getting rid of SLS would be a catastrophically bad move. Now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, maybe it's different. But I can tend to say, even if Starship gets up and operational and achieves everything that SpaceX wants and then some by the end of this decade, it would be nice to have overlap just in case. You know, put in a block buy for 20 SLSs, fly 20 SLSs. And, you know, when you're through 10 of those dang things, right, then look at Starship, potentially. You know, or keep flying SLS. Heck, man, I'll take more rockets rather than less, right? Need a daily that can run on 87 and get 25 miles, 25 mpg highway. Is that a V6? I thought you said it's a C-28. That's nice, Doom. That's cool. I dig it. T-56. Yeah, with the sixth gear, sure. Can we watch Starship test happening right now? No, I can't do that. Sorry. Sixth gear is 0.5 to 1 on the T-56. Nice, man. How you feeling about the new mod that's looking to add high-fidelity tires to BeamNG? Oh, that's cool. I did see the video for that a little while back, Phenos. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It is a 0.56 with a 342 final. Cool. What's up with Blue Origin? I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with them. They've been radio silent on the next New Glenn mission, with the exception of a couple of things here and there. But yeah, who knows? Have you flown the F4 more on DCS? I have not. Well, we got frost, dudes. I'm wondering what's going on here. We'll keep us on this here. I wanted to get back to doing more space news this week because we went on that summer car binge, and man, was that fun. But yeah, let's get back to it. You know, they weren't able to get this thing test fired yet. Nope. We might be getting a spin today. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it'll be a static fire. But there was a Pad 2 deluge test too this morning, from what I understand. Did you hear that they found a hybrid blue jay, green jay in San Antonio? Nice. Doom, you got a freaking Camaro for $1,800. It's nice, man. MC was great last week. I totally missed what happened with Ship 38. Yeah, the last two attempts have been boarded. Boarded. When's ship catch in your opinion? Probably next year. I'd say on the later side of next year, P-Gamer. Probably, well, maybe summer. I'll say summer next year. Which, once again, summer next year seems like that's 9 months away. It's not too bad. I think they're... I think once Block 3 really starts hitting... Like, once they get Block 3 up and running, I think the flights will get more expedient. You got to remember, Block 3 is based off of what SpaceX learned for turning stuff around for Block 2. I mean, that whole booster is redesigned. It's basically a new ship, guys. Like, it looks similar, but that's about it. The plumbing is all redone on Super Heavy. The engines are different, you know. But once again, the entire Block 3 architecture, you know, you say it's a new ship, right? Like, oh, it's a new ship. Everything's new. It might fail. What if it fails? This stuff is designed around mass production. Block 3 is, I personally think that's really what Block 3 is more about. I mean, it's obviously integrating the hot staging ring, 3 grid fins, etc., etc. But Raptor 3 is a motor that is designed to be mass produced. That is why it's so simple. That is why SpaceX made it seemingly look so simple. They engineered the rocket, they engineered Raptor 3 for maximum production rates. That's why Raptor 3 looks the way that it does. So in that regard, you'll see Block 3 boosters come off the assembly line a little bit faster than what you've seen with Block 2. The other bottleneck that you kind of got to take into account is the gigabays, but the gigabays will be done sooner rather than later. I'd say probably sometime next year, maybe a year from now. I mean, these buildings are gigantic. They're not small. But they're building 2 of them. So flight cadence should go up, theoretically. It should be faster than Block 2. Like, way faster. You know, if you think about their current flight rate right now, guys, you're thinking about current flight rate right now, and if they stay at this pace, you know, it's easy to say like, oh, a ship catch isn't happening for at least a year. No, I think there will be a ramp. It'll ramp up. And I think it'll ramp up exponentially, just like Falcon. And I believe we are in the calm before the storm here. And once it does, you know, guys, like what I mean is like a Starship flying every month, at the very least. Block 3 is really centered around that. That's really what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to do. It's supposed to be mass produced, and it's supposed to be able to. You're supposed to be able to fly it a lot. I think that floodgates will open, and you will really start to see ship catches, operational Starlink deployment missions. Yeah, the floodgates will open, so to speak. Do you think they're using Raptor 3 like Tesla, where they will just be able to replace the engine rather than trying to fix it? I think Raptor 3s, if they do break, Benji, I think they are a pain in the butt to fix and take apart. However, if you make a lot of them, right, the downtime is, okay, so say a booster engine breaks. Say one of the 33 engines on Super Heavy is hiccuping. It's causing a problem. It blew a line or something, which is not really how a rocket engine works. But say it does. It has parts that are worn out. Replace it. Throw away the old motor? No. Maybe rebuild it. But rebuilding is going to take time. But you could still rebuild it. If you increase the pool, like once again, if you have mass-produced engines, you can achieve a high flight rate, even if the engine is hard to take apart and put back together. I don't think necessarily that they'll just throw Raptor engines away. I really don't think so. I do believe that Raptor is a lot harder to disassemble and perform maintenance on that is just a byproduct of making something that's easy to build. It's easier to manufacture it, harder to take it apart. Like a new car. That's the idea, right? So I think that, you know, if there was a problem with an engine, they're not going to sit there and work on it on super heavy. They'll take it off and send it to the engine maintenance facility and replace it with another one. I mean, that's basically, guys, like, Benji, like, they don't talk about it. That's basically what they do with Falcon at this point. Like, Falcon 9 has a pool of Merlins to pick from if one of the reused boosters is having an issue. They swap engines all the time. It happens. Just like fighter jets. Yep. Airline-like operations, Beltfed, from top to bottom, dude. Do you think they might just fly him with a single engine out in the name of speed and have a dedicated month towards servicing the fleet? No. No, Graham, I wouldn't do that. Remember, think about it like airline-like operations. Would you fly a 747 if you knew that one of the engines wasn't working? Nope. I wouldn't. Rocket Legos. Bingo. Raptor 3 is designed to be easily manufactured in mass, so just swap out a broken one like changing a bulb. Correct. But it is a rocket engine at the end of the day. Baz Anime, I think that they'll take your proverbial broken engine in this analogy and probably ship it back to the manufacturer, ship it back to Hawthorne, or ship it back to McGregor, and they'll fix it and then send it and put it back into the pool. What'll happen to the booster? Will it be caught? Or will it crash land into the ocean? P-Gamer, I think that for Flight 11, they're probably going to get rid of booster, what is it, 15? Alexis, what's going on? They're probably going to do, like, some type of disposal with it. I don't think they're going to go for a catch. But the space nerd in me wants them to catch one of the Block 1 boosters one last time. I think that would be cool. I'm good, Alexis. Everything is fine. What if, as a send-off catch, they do a hard landing catch? Pile drive it into the OLM. I don't know, man. They already kind of have Booster 12. They're saving Booster 12 as far as I can tell and kind of prepping it for static display. Now, if they do get Booster 15 back, what are they going to do with it? Would you save money on demo costs for the OLM and make a flame trench if they did that? I would not do that, Graham. I would not do that in the slightest. Turn it into keychains and plaques. Yeah, maybe. Put it in the center of the roundabout. Now that would be kind of cool. $15 and $17 for testing your breakover device. That's a good idea, dude. That's a really good idea, actually. Yes. Yes. Oh, that's a good idea. In English, what does that mean? Beltfed, SpaceX bought a, SpaceX is making new, they're buying new ships. They're buying barges, and they're converting them into not autonomous spaceport drone ships for landing things on, but SpaceX is working on a transport barge to move starships and super heavies from Texas to Florida. They reach it. I'm pretty sure, we don't know this for sure. There's a company on the Gulf Coast called Marmac, M-A-R-M-A-C. Marmac makes barges, and they have a 300 series barge. 3 of their 300 series barges, I think I always forget what they are, like 302, 303, and 304 are the SpaceX drone ships. Of course, I still love you. Just read the instructions. shortfall of gravitas, right? This new one, per Elon, is going to be called You'll Thank Me Later, which keeps in line with, you know, Elon's obsession with the Culture series by Ian Banks, which is pretty cool. You'll Thank Me Later, I'm pretty sure, is the Marmac 308. Marmac 308 is a 100-foot by 300-foot barge. It's more than enough to carry a Starship or a Super Heavy on it. SpaceX is but in order to do that, obviously, if you want to move these things about on the ocean, you don't want them standing up because then they could tip without a lot of rigging and stuff. Even on a big drone ship like that, what you would want is to take them horizontally. So we know that SpaceX is building something called a breakover device. A breakover device is a nice way of saying it's a way to take the booster and do that with it. Take it horizontal so you could put it on a barge and then move it. Now, we still don't know the exact architecture for this. We don't know how they're going to do it. I theorize that the breakover device might be on the barge. Maybe. But then again, I really wouldn't want to put that on the barge now that I'm thinking about it. Because then it's just the breakover device is going to get ruined by salt water. You know? The more I think about this, the more I think it's probably easier to just roll it on. I liked my idea of SPMTs moving the dang thing onto the barge after you take it horizontal, but who knows? A transporter de-erector. Yeah, that's called a breakover device. Yeah, exactly. Just break it over at the port and load it on there. Maybe. Yeah, man. That's what... Dude, I was thinking about that too. I was talking with one of my buddies this morning about this on the phone. And I was told to think simpler than that. So if you're not putting the breakover device at the port, where are we putting the breakover device? Think simpler than that. Where would the breakover device go? Cranes? Sure. You could use cranes to do it. The launch pad? Does it make sense to move a booster from the build site to the launch pad and then to the port? Gigabay. The megabays, Enzo. That's where my mind went, dudes. That's where my mind went. Just saying. Megabays have a gantry crane in them. You could make a breakover device with that. Have the gantry crane in the megabay lift the ship or booster up in the air, attach the breakover to the bottom, and then roll the breakover device out of the megabay and just have the gantry crane lower. Boom. Instant horizontal. There you go. Works just like the bridge cranes. Like the bridge cranes from Pad 34 back in the day, like for Saturn 1Bs. Same idea. There will be no Gigabay in Florida for a while. Okay. So, when you transport it to Florida, why not just use the pads? Right? Like, there's still cranes. You could probably do it with a crawler crane at the end of the day. Oh, hang on guys. There's tanks on the methane. Methane tank has frost. That's what you said. Oh, nice. Yeah, there you go. Like, you'll be able to do it at Boca Chica that way, but not in Florida. That's what I'm specifically talking about. How do you get this, it'll be easier to move these things horizontally than vertically from the build site. Like that's the only way I can think of refactoring this thing and keeping it much simpler. LOX looks fueled for a 6-engine static fire. I don't know. Maybe we see a spin prime. But see, so fellas, see the ring right here? See how there's like an interruption in the frost line? That's the methane tank. The oxidizer tank is this. They fill up the oxidizer tank for ballast to keep the vehicle weighted down. At least the VAB in Florida. That'll do. Whoa, OLM vent just went ham, dude. Okay. If the OLM vent is purging right now, which it is, it's purging at a very high rate of flow. Yeah, it shouldn't be far out, guys. I don't think that's an abort. We didn't see the ship depress spoiled. So yeah, think about it, guys. You take the boosters horizontal. Like, that's the only way I could think about doing this simpler. Take the boosters horizontal in the mega bays, right? Move them horizontally, roll them onto You'll Thank Me Later, right? And then move them to the Cape, roll them into the VAB. Seriously, the transfer aisle in the VAB, that'll work. That's tall enough, and that'll work, right? Now, my question here, now the really one thing is you'd have to do it inside of one of the VAB high bays, in which case you'd have to SPMT transfer that thing out of one of the high bays. Doable, but there's this whole crawlerway thing going on there. I don't know how well SPMTs work on Tennessee River Rock. So, I don't know. I wasn't spoiled. What I'm trying to tell you is that I wasn't able to really think about what you're doing on the on the Cape side of things for getting these things vertical. Like, you could use the VAB, or you could just use a big freaking crawler crane as an interim thing until the Gigabay over there gets built. That's right, Driados, exactly. The transfer aisle doesn't have a high enough door. That's correct. Don't need it when you have a Liebherr 13,000 or 11,000 at the pad. Yeah, see, crawler cranes make more sense than the VAB. I just have this really crappy pipe dream about seeing a Starship roll out of the VAB. I don't know why. It's strange. Nearbone, could they make a motorized version for Florida so that it could just transport itself? I don't know. Maybe. But that's what I mean. Yeah, I was told to think simpler than that. But I wasn't really given any damn details. It's very annoying. NSF is expecting a 6-engine test per Hallex. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's the only way that makes sense. That's the only simpler way to do that. Could it be used for catching for further orbits? They do it with Falcon 9 with the new ship. Could what be used? P-Gamer, don't say please answer at the end. No, not please answer. No. You ask me questions. I will answer them as fast as I can. Don't do that again. The new drone ship, could it be used for catching? I don't think so. I mean, maybe. It's possible. I don't know, dude. I wouldn't risk trying to land something on that thing unless I had a couple of them, right? Especially, like, what are we talking about here? Like, landing a Falcon 9? You could land a Falcon 9 on it if you really wanted to. I don't know why you'd do that. Or landing a Starship? I don't know. It's your primary avenue of transportation between Texas and Florida, and it's going to be for some time. I wouldn't land anything on those things. There's still overhead obstacles. Are there still overhead obstacles at the Port of Brownsville? I mean, SpaceX could get them cleared out, spoiled, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of things, which is why, like, once again, I was thinking that they would just move it vertically to the port and then break it over there. But now I'm thinking like I don't think that's gonna happen. Because yeah, like I said, I was told to think simpler. You expect them to run the water deluge today? Yes. We should be seeing a static fire here very soon. Look for the fire X to turn on. Right here, you'll see some water start splashing around up underneath the rim of the OLM. And then you'll see the pad deluge turn on. That's a dead giveaway for a start. The fire X system. I think they'll be built. Altimeter, yeah. Fly it to Florida and catch it where? Who told? I was on the phone with someone, Ender. That's all. I'm not saying who, what, when, or why. The tower? Maybe. Have a west-facing tower. Yeah. SpaceX builds one of the towers at 37 facing towards Titusville, then we'll talk. Detonation Suppression System, UGTHIC is what the DSS stands for. Or I just call it the FireX system. I mean, you could call it DSS or FireX. Like, I think SpaceX changed the name of it. It's DSS now. I don't care. You look for water at the top and then water at the bottom. How would a booster be caught for a Mars mission? I don't think we're returning stuff from Mars. Oh, hold up. DSS is on. There it is. Pad deluge should turn on here. Here it goes. Okay. Send it. Ignition. Ten seconds. That was all. That was 6 burning for sure. Is there a waterway direct to 39A? No. You'd have to move it through CCSFS. That looked about 10 seconds, guys. A 10-second 6-engine burn. Crossrace, 77-month resub. Killer. Everything looked real good there, actually. Yeah, that looked perfect, dudes.
Discovery.
Scott, tier 1, 43-month resub. Way to just join seconds too late. Yep, sorry, man. This is why I did Space News early, because between the astronaut candidate announcement, the L-48 Falcon 9 mission, and the static fire, I was like, bro, we got a Space News early today. We'll play games later. And we also have we have a Rocket Lab mission, the Rocket Lab Jenna mission at 7:45 p.m. Eastern, a little later tonight. Did they start the engine sequentially? Yes. They always do. MSC after. MSC goes back to Wednesdays, Alex, for now. Even though I do want to go play it again. I do want to play. We got over the hump, man. I did the dang rally race, and now I'm like, oh, I want to play this more. Blue Ghost Mission 1 lives on. Follow her historic moon landing and operations. The team earned a $10 million NASA contract addendum for additional data collected beyond our initial contractual requirements. Nice. That's cool, goalie. Neat. Flight 11 in 2 weeks, TM. I missed it. How'd you do in the rally race? Oh, I came in dead last. I crashed on both legs, Nabek. That's why I want another shot. Where is this Rocket Lab launch? I want another Virginia launch. It is from Wallops. Yeah. It's a Wallops. It's a Wallops launch. Cool. Rip. It's all right, man. I flipped the car on the first leg and I crashed into a swamp on the second leg. I was able to flip the car back, finish the drive, and then I pushed it out of the swamp. I pushed it out of the swamp on the second leg. Finding your door is going to be fun. I think it's the quarter panel that's missing. Oh, nice, Perry. There you go. It's a haste mission, so there probably won't be a stream. Oh, it's haste. It's a hypersonic test mission, so it's suborbital. Yeah, they probably won't stream it, dude. So I don't know. You guys want to play MSC? I'm kind of down, dude. I'm kind of down. I mean, that's up to you guys. We still have our city save to do. We have the Kerbal rocket that we want to build up. We want to work on Wonton and stuff. There's still things to do, but also do you think you'll try again? Dude, I want another shot at it, Dan, for sure. But I also want to play cities. Hey, Jens, what's going on? Thanks for the great content. My pleasure. KSP. Yeah, I said that. All right, Yum Food. Cool. Good to know. When will the F-150 repair stream occur as you promised? I don't own an F-150, Setmaze. I've never promised an F-150 stream ever. Ever. I don't own one. I never have owned an F-150 if you really want to know. I own an F-100, an F-250, and tentatively an F-350. I don't know what you're talking about. Perfect occasion to get one. Oh, I see what you did there. I see what you did. Dude, I have way too many cars in my backyard right now. I have 9 in the backyard. It's not good. I can't have this, dude. We got to work on the Coronet. I can't have this. This is no good. I can't do this. I can't. This is bad. It's bad for me. It's like, even for me, it's bad. It's not good. I have 9 cars on my property. Well, not most of them. Some of them are not mine. I have too many, man. we got to finish some other projects, Set. But having an F-150 is a bit like having a space shuttle. I have an F-250, man. Why do I need an F-150? Sorry, 9? 5 of them belong to Brimo and I. One of them is a donor vehicle for the Coronet. And then 2 of them are Ernox, and 1 of them is a customer car right now. I have 2 Camaros, 1 Mustang, a Fusion, 4 pickup trucks, and a Dodge Coronet on my property right now. It's not good, man. My backyard looks like a used car lot. I keep them in the backyard, right? Like, because I don't want people seeing all of it, right? Like, dude, it's not good. You go out in my backyard. I mean, it's cool, but I'm like, okay. I have the F-100, the 59. I have the 97 F-250. I have the 87 F-350. And I have a 2004 Dodge Ram 1500 that I'm going to take the engine out of because it's junk. The engine's fine. And I'm going to put it in the Coronet. I also scored payment for working on the customer Camaro right now in the form of a 327 small block Chevy. I have another small block Chevy in my garage. And it came with a Lunati cam and lifters. And I got a Sears Craftsman drill press out of that deal. That was payment for fixing the Camaro. So, you know. Ya know. It's a standing drill press, dude. You got me beat at 60 cars? Oh dear. Dude, I can't. 9 is too much. Maintaining this fleet of vehicles has been the reason why I've been late for streams in the past. Why are Americans so fond of pickups? Because it's useful. That means. Australians are obsessed with pickups too. I don't see anybody giving them crap. You want to see some KSP? Yeah, I got you. The 327's in pieces. We got to put it back together. Yeah, but Australians are useless. Oh, damn, dude. Damn. Cosmo Quest, thank you for the raid. Wow. That maze chose violence today. Jeez. Hey, I like them. They all right. He has a point. Does he, though? Does he, though? Okay, I withdraw. We'll get more car working streams in the future, okay? You plowed snow for 20 years. A lot of the trucks are rusted out Rams. Petrie, you got any of those 47 RHs? Got any of those? Got any of those? I'll come get it. Right. I want to see that static fire again, but we should be getting some stuff from social media here from SpaceX in a moment. We'll get let's look at the review from NSF.
Discovery,
here.
go at throttle up.
Hey, Ron. What's up, man? Nice. Is the 97 also a Power Stroke? No. The 97 is a 351. It's a 351 with a ZF5 behind it. It's a 4x2 Tigris. Yeah, it already went, dudes. This is the replay. I just got to find a two-wheel drive tail housing. Let's see. Was that about 10 seconds? Hold on, let me time it again. Ready? Ignition. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's weird. 7 seconds? Do we have a schedule for the next test launch? No. One of the cameras on Starbase Live, you could see the RVEX and sea levels light up. I know. We watched Starbase Live, dude. That's what we watched it over here. I didn't watch the NSF official. I don't want to restream the NSF official. 8.9 seconds, your estimation. Semi, it's got to be, yeah, it's definitely higher than, like, I don't know, man. Like, that's weird. Yeah, Tigris. What I want to do with the 97 is get a Dana 60 for the front, dude. I want to get a Dana 60, and then I want to convert that ZF5, or get a ZF5 with the transfer case. Or put a transmission in there that's, I mean, I don't know. The manual transfer case is what I want. I got to find a, I don't know. That might be a little bit difficult to get a non-electronically controlled ZF5 transfer case. I don't know if they made that. I'd have to go find it. We keeping you up? I don't know why, man. I'm just super tired today. It's probably just Monday. Dr. WD40, thanks for the raid, man. And Cosmo Quest had a raid in there, too. Ooh, jeez. It's a flocking raid. It's a flocking raid. It's a flocking raid. What's up, Namaste Geek? How are you? Birds. Get another cough drop. Make you yawn. What's going on, WD-40 Raiders? What's WD-40 up to? Hi. I don't know, Hellfish. We're not doing that. Interesting, Tigris. Is there going to be a proper plane test flight? Barry, we're probably about 2 to 3 weeks out from that. This was a static fire, guys. So they, here, I'll show you. This is what they just did. You guys just missed this. Here, check it out. So they turned on that and they did this. So it's just a static fire, but it was still cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. That is an effective air humidifier. I mean, I've never seen anybody really refer to it like that, but yeah, you're not wrong, Barry. Yeah, fatigue sucks. Yeah, hey, whatever, dude. I'll wake up. They did make a manual engage setup 4x4 in 1997. Your F-350 has it. Oh, all right. Excellent. How are you tired? It's literally 8 a.m. in America right now. No, it's not. It's 3 in the afternoon. Like, it's 3 in the afternoon. King, I've watched that video before, but I don't remember what he said. I've seen it though. I don't know why I'm so dang tired all of a sudden. I got a good amount of sleep last night. It's probably just getting back into the groove. Some good music to get you going. If you can't listen to it here. Sí, cansado. Do you wish to watch it again? It's just a short 45-second clip. I'm good, man. Thank you, though. I'm good. Oh, nice, Goalie. There you go. Set Maze with the prime sub. Thank you. Body's still getting over your swamp shenanigans. Yep. For Arian 6. Yeah. Heard something. Okay. Did you see your message earlier about RDEs? Not sure what your thoughts on detonation engines are. Detonation engines are cool. It would be really cool if, we could utilize that in the future 2020. I think an RDE holds great promise. Problem is that RDEs have been around, they've been tested. No one's using them for like orbital vehicles. They're just all test engines. That's not to say that it won't be sometime in the future. RDEs are cool. I think they're awesome. Rotating detonation is really, really neat. That's a really neat idea. But also at the same time, there's a reason why no one's using it. How's the day been? It's been all right, man. I'm having a little bit of trouble waking up all of a sudden. I was fine when we were watching the NASA cast. And it's fine when we were watching the rocket launch. But the body is weak and spongy. The mind is willing, but the body's weak and spongy. Are they inefficient or super expensive? No, they're super efficient. They can make more thrust and they can make it more efficiently. But the problem is they're still just being tested right now. But there has been some great strides. But we're not going to see an RDE on a launch vehicle. I mean, we might see one soon, but nothing right now. Nothing as of yet. When Maximalist Baguette playthrough? In Hearts? Oh, I don't know. It's been a developmental technology for a long time, though, Xerox. RDEs have been around for a little while. You haven't played Workers for a while. Yeah. We're kind of on a cities kick right now. It looks like some tiles did fall off. Just a little bit, though. Launch today. No. The pad is in test stand configuration, guys. Note that there is a distinct lack of first stage. There should be like a, 300-ton 22-story first stage, like right in this area right here, and it's not there. You know what I mean? It's not there. It should be there, but it's not. Looks to be like a pretty hot day. Mila, it's yeah, Boca Chica is very warm. Oh yeah. One tile falls off the skirt and people are going nuts. Baz, I never really understood people being obsessed with the tiles falling off during a test stand ignition like this. I don't really understand why people make a big deal out of it. Starship, okay, so the reason why tiles fall off, guys, is because of reverberations of sound coming off the ground. The engines are so loud, you scoot out of the way. The engines are so loud the sound reverbs off, well, off of the deluge system and off of the resulting ground and off of the tower and everything. And then it reverbs off Starship, and that actually caused Starship to shake. This happens. That's part of the reason why that pad deluge system is there. Now, that doesn't mean that the pad deluge system gets all of it, because the thing is still attached to the pad, and the pad is vibrating like crazy. And that does cause tiles to pop off. But this is not true of a scenario, of any other scenario where Starship would be firing its engines. Where are the other places where Starship would be firing its motors? Hot staging, in which case there's no ground near you in any way, shape, or form, and any reverberations that are going to happen, i.e. off of like the top of super heavy, are not, the sound is not going to carry nearly as much due to lower pressure. Sound needs atmosphere to propagate through. It needs to go through the atmosphere. Where Starship does its hot staging, that's mostly into space. There's no atmosphere up there, so it's going to cause minimal reverberation. Now, when Starship could proverbially in the future come down for a catch, right? It's not going to be near the ground. It's going to be 25 stories that way. Actually more, 30 stories up. That's how big that tower is. So people are wondering, people are like, oh my God, tiles fell off. This is not analog to flight. This is actually the opposite of that. I wouldn't worry about it too much, dude, to be honest with you. In fact, the fact that only 2 tiles fell off is a pretty damn good testament to that thermal protection system. It's pretty damn robust. They did this with the space shuttle with FRFs and tiles fell off left and right. They did it on STS-1 when they weren't sure and a bunch of tiles came off the OMS pods. Oh, absolutely a thing. I'm good, Vargon. How are you? Did the shuttle lose tiles on launch? On some of the earlier launches, Neo, yes, but for the most part, no. Your boss walked in. Did you miss the static fire? Yeah, I got you, man. I got you. Here, this is a replay, guys. Watch. Actually, I didn't see any tiles fall off there. My real question is, were those tiles off before it fired? Or when did those tiles really come off here? Oh, yep. See? Look, those tiles popped off at ignition. It's the sound, dude. The overpressure event is what popped them off. That's not going to happen wherever Starship goes to fire its engines again. Right there, you can see it. Yeah, it falls off. Yep. Once again, this could be vibrations from the stand itself, guys. It's possible. What is happening to Dream Chaser? No clue. Haven't heard anything about Dream Chaser in months. I'm really scared it's going under. I don't know. They seemed really gung-ho about going to space, like at the beginning of the year. Don't know what happened there. Dream Chaser is cosplaying Hermes. Set Maze, what is it about people building mini shuttles? Every time someone goes to build a mini shuttle, they are met with seemingly insurmountable problems. It's ridiculous. Sorry, this is long. I'm new here. Day 1. No problem. I've always been interested in space. Do you recommend any basic knowledge to really engage with the stream? Just stick around, namaste. And I'm not just saying that as a stick to be like, oh. keep watching the stream and I'll teach you. But dude, if you keep watching here, I'll always take a second to explain things. All you got to do is tag me at EJSA and I'll answer your question. I try to do it in real time, but sometimes if I'm playing a game or something, like I'll be focused on the game and not dying in it. So, but yeah, you can ask me space questions anytime, anywhere. I mean,
Oh, this is space. I'm in space.
just like Dart, I don't want to talk about that. This is why Starship is a gigantic shuttle. That's how you know it's going to work. I don't know. In terms of resources, like, Namaste, how... Okay, I will tell you this. Spaceflight is a deep, deep, deep rabbit hole. Like, it's a bottomless pit of information. Like, what do you want to know? It is so vast and so ridiculously complicated, and that knowledge base is so ridiculously big. Like, what interests you? Like, that's a lot. Like, oh, I want to learn general space flight. Okay. How a rocket flies, how a rocket engine works. What are we talking about here? We talking about propulsion? We talking about how the thing flies through the air? What are we talking about? Like, what catches your fancy, so to speak? For what it's worth, I'm an academic and definitely a long-time learner. Okay, cool. I want to know a little bit about everything. Okay, if you want to do the book side of things, Rocket Propulsive Elements by George Sutton is probably a good place to start. There's another book called Modern... I have it on my shelf. I'll just go get it. This one. Modern Engineering for Design of Liquid Propellant Rocket Engines. This is by Dieter Heusel and David Huang. This is a good book. This will teach you a lot about how rockets work. RPE will teach you more about how rockets fly and stuff. Yes, my shorts are amazing. Be jealous. If not, I just started doing a basic series on rockets and how they work and stuff, and analysis if you really want to know. Like, we're doing a series in Kerbal about that right now. Blue Origin posted a video of their heat shield. Looking around for it. Blue Origin. Ooh, what is this? Huh. The first test article assembled and tested in Lunar Plant 1, our lunar transporter sun shield. Designed to be one of the largest deployable shields in space, it will protect both our transporter and Blue Moon Mark II crew lander from radiation while the two vehicles are docked. Huh. Thank you. I got all the links. This is wonderful. Yeah, and Namaste, you can always... I'm not saying, like, stick around for every stream, like... Because that's not my stick. Well, if you stay here and watch, I'll teach you. If you have a question, just pop in and ask. And leave. That's what I'm here for. I've been teaching people about rockets on the internet for more than a decade. Pretty good at it. Getting there. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw this from last week, but Blue popped the 360-degree camera off the side of their last New Shepard flight. It's pretty good. Now, keep in mind, the reason why this disc is floating around is because the 3D camera is spinning end over end, but because it's a 3D camera, you can stabilize the footage. So, yeah, pardon the spinning. That's pretty rad, dude. Yeah, guys, thank you, Phil. That's a good picture for that. But yeah, this New Shepard footage is amazing. Yeah, that's part of the shield for that thing. Pretty wild, man. Thanks. You love to feel nauseous? You love to feel nauseous, but you don't like spelling it too well either. Got him. Got him good. Can you teach me some state space modeling? No. I don't wanna. It's a thing we argued about. I don't know, Kujiman. You may have spelled it right. I'm sorry. I was just trying to be funny. Didn't work. When discussing the MSC Marathon. September 22nd is the autumnal equinox in the northern hemisphere. On this day, our planet isn't tilted toward or away the sun. And both day and night are almost exactly 12 hours, with a few small exceptions. How will you celebrate the start of fall? Ooh, I don't want summer to be over, man. You know, I've said I hated fall in the past. Like, not gonna lie, I still do. But is that Portland? No. Wait. Yes, maybe? I don't know. Doesn't matter. I don't know, man. Fall means winter is coming, and I'm not the biggest fan of winter. What do you think the top factors of swapping an engine out? What do you think the top factors of swapping an engine out after a static fire are? You have to do that in a relatively clean environment, Petrie. They got to do that in a clean room. It's like so, Petrie, think about it like this. You ever been to an engine building shop? You know, like a speed shop. You go to an engine where they put the motors together. They ain't putting them together just in the shop. I mean, a lot of people do that. You and I do that. But if you go to a really good speed shop, right, they're building the engine in a climate-controlled, separate room, right? Because you want to minimize debris. You want to minimize humidity. You want to minimize a bunch of things, right? if you're gonna do an engine swap, it has to be in that kind of environment. Well, doesn't have to. It's better if it is in that type of environment. So if they got to do an engine swap, getting the ship on the processing stool and putting it into Mega Bay 2 and putting it onto the engine installation test or installation stand. That's probably going to take some time if they have to swap a motor out. No, I mean, what data points will cause them to do it? Oh, I have no idea, dude. Feature, you know, like how you can run into bore taper on an engine? That happens with combustion chambers and rockets. But it doesn't taper from like high mileage, so to speak. The combustion chamber lining can eventually degrade over time. Just from starting and stopping it. It has a shelf life of starts for the most part. Unless you did some serious engineering, and Raptor might be that way, but there's only so many times you're going to be able to use that thing before it just destroys the combustion chamber. But then again, like I said, Raptor 3 might get over stuff like that, you know? It might be better. I'll trade my 9-month summertime per year for your winters. I don't think you will. I don't think you'd be saying that, but who knows? I don't know. What do you mean, don't wait around, just ask your question, then leave? I've been watching your streams for hours, hoping to learn from your stick. Kalfmemba, I'm basically saying, like, you don't... That's me saying, like, I don't paywall my content or anything, and I'm not saying, well, you have to watch the stream for a certain amount of time before I answer your question. No. You just come in and ask a question and leave. I don't care. That doesn't bother me. Like, I'm not trying to be like, well, you have to watch this. One of the biggest questions I get asked all the time is the question I'm not going to answer right now, and you're going to have to keep watching if you want to know the answer. I hate that type of content creation, man. It's more saying that. Like, with that being said, I appreciate you watching for more. I have a video on that. Yeah, exactly, Kuchu. Yeah, there you go, man. And the real mystery is how Raptor is handling 300 bar and being reusable. Film cooling. Lots of film cooling. But that being said, you're still going to have liner degradation over time. It happens. X-Wing, I'm good, man. We'll figure out something. I might do a more traditional space news in a little bit. Don't forget to like, follow, and share. Yeah, Histo, exactly. I'm not doing that crap. Actually, dudes, you know what? That might be a good idea. I might take a small break now, just because I think what's throwing me off is like my schedule's all screwed up because we started with space news because there was a ton of space news right away. Well, actually, you know, I'm thinking about how I want to do this. Ooh, Rip Farm. Yeah, I know, Dan. I know what you mean. I think I might go take a quick, like, probably just a quick break here. Limo Shenanigans and Beam. I don't know. Like, I want to do space news kind of at its normal hour, or we could just come back and play games. I don't know. We could come back and play KSP. We've been doing space news. forgot that Jenna mission was the Rocket Lab mission was a haste mission, so that kind of screwed up my entire schedule for the day. We could play games for the rest of the night, dudes, if you want. FYI, there are 2 Artemis briefings tomorrow. The first one starts 2 hours before your normal start time. Oh. Really? Can you get me a link on it, Phil? What are these briefings about? Huh. Yeah, flip up. Let me see. Artemis 2 mission overview. Artemis 2 science and technology. Oh yeah, we're watching this. Yeah, okay, so tomorrow's gonna have to be a little bit of a longer stream. That's fine. Yeah, the launch abort system is pretty much finished. Orion's ready to go on top of SLS. And there's the potential of a single engine static fire tomorrow. And this is on the 24th. What is this? Oh, crew news conference on the 24th at 10. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh, this is going to be a week. It really is stacked. How long could we launch? I mean, Noswolf, if they stack the whole dang thing, you got to bring it out to the pad. You got to do a lot of testing with hooking up the ML. You just got to make sure all the interfaces with the pad work. You got to make sure the fueling systems work. Yeah, that's and then they have to bring it back after that to install the flight termination system, and then bring it out back to the pad, and then start a launch campaign. Now this is NASA. It does take time. So week of space news early and gaming later. That might have to be how this ends up, dude. They're aiming for a single rollout this time. Okay. If they're doing that, I mean... Yeah, the Sloss video, that's right. Phil had a video about how they said they were going to do that. February. That tracks with their February dates, guys. Yeah, that tracks correct. Go to sleep now? Dude, it's 3:30. We have to do more stream. I'm not giving you 3 hours of stream today. You didn't pay for 3 hours, so we got to do something. I'm trying to plan my schedule now because of these. Yeah, we're going to have to watch these tomorrow. So, I mean, they're all, yeah. I'm just thinking about how I'm going to do this, dudes. I want to rope in some wrench time on the Coronet. Did I see the new Skunkworks drone? I did. Yeah. So, fellas, it's Monday. I think I'm gonna, well, we got a little bit of time here. Friday's wrench day. Fellas, I No, there's going to be no early hours on Friday. So early hours this week is going to on Friday. I have to drive up into the city. I have to help my parents out with something. So I am not going to be here. I will be back for Flame Trench and racing. I'll be here for that. But yeah, Friday there's going to be no early hours. I have to help my folks out with something. Thursday is for wrenching. I was going to do it on Wednesday because Thursday there's the IMAP launch for Falcon 9. And then Starlink is scheduled for 4:30 in the morning on Thursday. I think, yeah. Oh. We also have a Project Kuiper mission scheduled Thursday morning. Oh boy. Oh, dude, we got a stacked amount of rocket launches for the rest of the week, dudes. There's a lot. You know what? You know what, dudes? Let's play some cities. Give me a second to just go down to the house, grab a quick bite, and let's play our cities one save. Let's play what did we call that city? What's that line? Yaksville. Yeah. Yeah. It's Monday. Mondays is the city's day. I was trying to remember what my original schedule is. And then we'll play Kerbal tomorrow. Summer Car on Wednesday with wrenching, if at all. And then Thursday, probably Kerbal again, if I had to say. Or maybe more Summer Car. I don't know. But I want cities on Mondays, Kerbal on Tuesdays, Summer Car on Wednesdays, and we will keep playing Summer Car until that character croaks. I think that's what we should do. Yeah. Try the Stationeers terrain update. I have a multiplayer server that's on the Stationeers beta right now, Meatwad. So we're gonna have to find time for that too. Oh man, we got a lot of stuff to do. How cool was racing? The rally race was fun. It was really fun in Summer Car. I made 2 mistakes, and those 2 mistakes cost me, but it's okay. Perkele. All right, so I'm going to take my break a little bit earlier today. I usually take it in about an hour, but I'll be back momentarily, and we will start up the city stream. Now, on YouTube, you guys know I'm going to jog the VOD. And I'll start it right back up when we get going. So on Twitch, just chill here for a moment, listen to the Space Tunes, or the EJ Space Tunes, I should say, and go from there. I'll see you guys in a second. We'll load up cities, and we'll play cities for the rest of the night. Should be pretty fun. I'll see you guys in a little bit.